Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet.
Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Christmas all around this hour of the program with an episode of Good News from 1939, Stars Over Hollywood, Jack Webb in Dragnet, Frank Sinatra as Rocky Fortune, and Lum and Abner. And we thank you for making us a part of your Friday, 22nd day of December, 356th day of the year, 9 days remaining. And, we're getting there. Winter is, winter's been around for a lot of the country for a while, but, the official day is coming up. The Embargo Act forbidding trade with all foreign countries passed by Congress on this date in 1807 at the urging of President Jefferson. In 1809, the Non-Intercourse Act lifting the Embargo Act, except for the UK and France, passed Congress 2 years later in 1809. The Lincoln Tunnel opened to traffic in New York City on this date in 1937, and in 1963, the official 30-day mourning period for the assassination of President Kennedy ended. President Johnson reflected on his former boss.
President Lincoln and John Kennedy moved toward those nobler dreams and those larger visions where the needs of the people dwell. Their fight for a better life for more people is their legacy to their countrymen. It is the coin by which their worth shall be counted. It is the gauge by which their memory shall be measured.
Some people continue to believe that President Kennedy killed by Johnson, but the theory continues to be just that, a theory. 1972, the Bamak Hospital in Hanoi struck by 7 bombs dropped by American airplanes on the 5th day of Operation Linebacker 2. 18 people, physicians, medical students, nurses, and patients were killed. Now, while the media talked about the bombings much as they talk about the attacks by Israel into Palestine, Senator Barry Goldwater gave the bombing some perspectives.
I know bombing hurts the feelings of many Americans, but if the North Vietnamese insist on keeping this war going that threatens American lives and the lives of friends, then I'm all for bombing them and bombing them and bombing them and keeping it up until they come to the table and say, I want to quit. And I don't think that North Vietnam can sustain this type of bombing much longer.
And when you think about it from that perspective, it really makes some sense. 1984, subway vigilante Bernard Goetz shot 4 African-American men on an express train in the Bronx borough of New York City. 1990, Lech Walesa sworn in as president of Poland. 2001, Richard Reed attempted to destroy a passenger airliner by igniting explosives hidden in his shoes aboard American Airlines Flight 63. If you ever wondered why you have to take your shoes off when you go through screening at an airport, now you know. 2010, the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, the 17-year policy banning homosexuals serving openly in the U.S. military, signed into law by Democrat President Obama. In 2017, the Security Council of the United Nations voted 15-0 in favor of additional sanctions on North Korea, including measures to slash the country's petroleum imports by up to 90%. In 2017, President Trump signed the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017. And in 2018, the federal government shutdown began, the longest shutdown of the federal government in history. Passing away on this date in history, writer Beatrix Potter, also producer Daryl Zanuck, Butterfly McQueen, singer Dave Dudley, also Fred Foy, a fine announcer, and Joe Cocker, Mad Dogs and Englishmen.
Hi, this is Jeff Foxworthy. It is now time for the birthday announcements. The following people are now officially older than dirt.
And we celebrate some birthdays of people who have left this mortal soil, among them the fine arranger and orchestra leader Andre Castellanos, First Lady Lady Bird Johnson, also Barbara Billingsley, the mother in Leave It to Beaver, also game show host Gene Rayburn, a hilarious fellow when you gave him a chance, country singer Hawkshaw Hawkins, actress Ruth Roman, and Robin and Maurice Gibb of the Bee Gees, all born on this date in history. From Chicago Hope and Last Man Standing, Hector Elizondo is 87 today, Diane Sawyer 78, from Two Live Crew, Luther Campbell is 63. Voldemort in the Harry Potter movies, Ralph Fiennes is 61. Politician Ted Cruz, 53. Well, she was Heather Donahue when she had her breakthrough role in the Blair Witch Project. She's retired now, going by the name of Rye Hance. She is a marijuana grower and writer, and she is 49. From the WWE, pro wrestler Luke Gallows is 40, who actually had most of his success in New Japan Pro Wrestling and Impact Wrestling. Jordan Sparks from American Idol, 34 today. Singer Meghan Trainor is 30. And from the Netflix series American Vandal, G. Hanelius is 25. Those just a few of the people who celebrate the 22nd day of December as their birthday. And if this is your birthday...
Hi, we're the Four Freshmen, and we just want to say, Happy birthday to you!
We'll get rolling now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. A little longer edition than usual today because we've got an episode of Good News of 1939, their Christmas show from 85 years ago. That's next as we continue here with Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Daily, the broadcasts of Radio Free Europe and Radio Free Asia strike through the Iron Curtain, bringing the truth about the free world to the captive peoples behind it. Help send a message by giving to the 1952 Crusade for Freedom.
Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. We continue now with an episode of Good News of 1939. This episode goes back 85 years to December 22nd, 1938, the Christmas show, and hosted by Robert Young.
Maxwell House Coffee presents Good News of 1939. The makers of Maxwell House Coffee present 60 star-studded minutes filled with Christmas cheer and holiday spirit from the Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer Studios in Hollywood. Tonight you will hear Robert Taylor, Rita Johnson, Fanny Bryce with Henley Stafford, Frank Morgan, Tony Martin, and Meredith Wilson. Here is your host for this evening, Robert Young.
Thank you, Warren. Meredith Wilson and the orchestra get our show underway with a musical tribute to one of the sweetest and best-loved stars on the MGM lot, Eleanor Powell. He calls it Here's to Eleanor, and in it you will find Rosalie, My Lucky Star, and from her newest picture, the title song, Honolulu.
Hi, party for Mary. Hi, practice on a day. unless I find romance in Honolulu. I know just how it looks from the ready picture book, so please don't disappoint me, Honolulu, my Honolulu.
That was swell, Meredith. Well, Tony Martin, how do you do, boy?
Hello, Bob. Say, Bob, I just walked into my dressing room and I saw all the swell presents you fellas got for me, and, gee, I don't know what to say.
All right, Tony, don't say anything.
Okay.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Say, Meredith, how did you know that was just what I wanted?
I'm psychic.
A suit of long underwear. Fits me like a glove.
Say, Tony, did you like the hot water bag I gave you?
Bob, just my color.
Oh, fine.
Gee, fellas, you know I wanted to reciprocate and everything.
Oh, no, Tony, don't think anything of it.
Oh, really, fellas, I really mean it. I've been terribly busy, but I finally found time to do a little shopping after all, and I just couldn't get a thing.
Well, why not?
The dime store was too crowded.
All right, Santa Claus, I think you better sing. Ladies and gentlemen, Tony Martin sings a new arrangement of one of Raymond Scott's early compositions, Christmas Night in Harlem.
I've spent my Christmas in Singapore, rung bells in Ecuador. I've seen the gay streets and play streets of every shore. Each town has some stay out late white way, some not so great white way. They're only thin types of Harlem way. Under a sky of electric lights they sway. There's where they dance all their hectic nights away. Take London Strand and the Paris Rue de la Paix. But give me Harlem, give me Harlem, where every gal strutting with her bow through the streets covered white with snow. Happy smiles everywhere you go. It's Christmas night in Harlem. Black and tan, feeling mighty good in that old colored neighborhood. Here and now, be it understood, it's Christmas night in Harlem. Everyone is going to sit up until after 3. Everyone will be all lit up like a Christmas tree. Come on now, every cold black Joe, greet your sweet niece the mistletoe with a kiss and a hidey-ho. It's Christmas night in Harlem. Hallelujah, 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 Come on now, every cold black Joe, greet your sweet niece the mistletoe with a kiss and a hidey-ho. It's Christmas time in Harlem town.
That was swell, Tony. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here is Fanny Bryce as Baby Snooks. Daddy, played by Hanley Stafford, is taking Snooks down to a department store to see Santa Claus. As he leads her into the store, Daddy is full of happiness and the Christmas spirit. Listen.
Oh, Snooks, stop dragging along behind. You want to get lost?
Oh, look it.
Come on, let's get in the store. Talk to Santa and make it quick so we can go home. My feet hurt.
I won't look in the window, Daddy.
Oh, never mind the window. There's plenty of... Gee, look at that wonderful erector set. And that electric train. Hey, it whistles. well.
Daddy.
What?
There's Uncle Louie with a fur coat on.
Oh, where's Uncle Louie?
There he is, climbing up the ladder.
That's a mechanical monkey. Uncle Louie.
I want it.
Well, you can't have it. It's too big. Now, what else do you want?
Come buy me a drum.
Oh, Snooks, you don't want a drum.
Yes, I do.
But if I get your drum, you'll keep disturbing me while I'm working.
No, I won't. I'll only drum while you're sleeping.
The drum is out. Now, get something sensible. Like a dollhouse or that wonderful electric train. Boy, is that terrific.
You want it, Daddy?
Do I? I mean, what do I want with toys? Now, don't be silly. Now, hurry up, make up your mind, and we'll go in and see Santa Claus.
Is he in there?
Yes. Do you know what you're going to ask him for?
Uh-huh.
Are you sure?
Uh-huh.
What?
I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you. Ask him to bring you a dollhouse.
Why?
Because I've already bought it. That's the best toy for you.
I don't want a dollhouse.
Well, what do you want?
I want a live pony.
Oh, you can't have a live pony. You've got to ask Santa for a dollhouse.
All right.
Now, don't make any trouble for me when we get in there.
I won't, Daddy.
We better have a little rehearsal. I want to make sure you'll ask him for the right thing. Now, I'll be Santa Claus, and you come up to me.
Aha! Merry Christmas, little girl.
Same to you, Daddy.
No. Say Merry Christmas to Santa Claus.
Where is he?
Inside the store.
And why should I say it out here?
Because I'm Santa Claus.
Where's your beard?
I haven't got a beard. I'm just pretending. Now, when you see Santa, I want you to ask him for a dollhouse. Now, let's try it again.
All right.
Now, here we go.
Where are we going?
Nowhere.
Ah.
Now, let's try it.
Aha! Merry Christmas, little girl.
I want a live pony.
I told you to ask for a dollhouse.
I don't want a dollhouse.
Just the same, you've got to say, I want a dollhouse.
Why?
Say, I want a dollhouse. Merry Christmas, little girl. What do you want?
Daddy wants a dollhouse.
What?
But I want a live pony.
Now, listen, sir. If you don't ask him for a dollhouse, I won't take you in there. Are you going to behave?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go in.
All right.
Now, there's Santa. Now, come on over and talk to him. Now, go ahead, sir.
Hello, Santa Claus.
Well, Merry Christmas, little girl.
Merry Christmas.
Well, you're just about the nicest, sweetest little girl I've ever seen. Come over close to Santa.
Now, what are you crying about?
He's going to smack me.
Oh, look out! What have you done? No! You give Santa back his beard. Come on, let's get out of here.
What kind of a kid is that anyway? You ought to give her a sound spanking.
Well, now, you've annoyed Santa Claus. I guess that'll fix you for Christmas.
Why?
Because he won't bring you any presents.
Then I'll buy some. I got 40 cents.
Oh, you have?
Uh-huh. I saved it up to buy a present for you and Mommy.
Why, Snooks, that's very sweet of you, dear.
I'm going to buy you a silk bathrobe.
Oh, yes?
And I'm going to buy Mama a great big diamond ring.
Well, listen, Snooks. I think you'll need a little more money if you're going to buy all that. Give me the 40 cents.
Here, Daddy.
And here's a brand new $10 bill for you.
What shall I buy you, Daddy?
I'll leave it entirely up to you. Let's walk around the counter.
Oh, look at all those nice things. Ain't it wonderful? Hello, little boy. Hello. What's your name?
Tony, what's your name?
Pudding-cane. Ask me down, I'll tell you the same.
Oh, Snooks, be polite and tell the little boy your name.
My name is Snooks, and you got a big hole in your pants.
Snooks.
Well, I know it.
The patch ain't the same color. That ain't a patch. That's me. Where's your daddy? I ain't got no daddy. Why? Oh, I don't know. They took him away last year in an ambulance. Mother says he ain't coming back.
Oh. You look cold, Sonny.
No, I ain't cold. I'm going home soon.
When?
As soon as I sell the rest of my papers.
What are you selling papers?
Well, I got 18 cents already. If I get another 7 cents, I can buy something for my mother.
What did you figure on buying, Sonny?
Well, I kind of wanted to get her that nice soft fur coat, but the man said it cost too much. Mother gets awful cold most of the time. I guess I can buy her a turkey, though.
A turkey?
Uh-huh. We ain't had turkey for an awful long time. Yeah, I bet you'd love a turkey.
Daddy.
Yes, dear.
I want to whisper something to you. Yes, dear. You don't need no Christmas present, do you?
I think I can do without it this year.
All right. Here, Tony. Buy something for your mommy.
$10? Oh, gee, I can't take this.
Yes, you can you, Daddy?
Why, of course.
Is it all right, mister?
If my little girl wishes you to have it, that's fine with me.
Gee, thanks. Bye.
Goodbye, little
Merry
boy.
Christmas.
Nice little boy.
Snooks, I don't know what to say. You really are a wonderful child.
You love me, Daddy?
Snooks, I love you an awful lot. When you're good.
Daddy.
Yes?
I love you even when you ain't good.
Well, come on, let's go home, baby. This is the happiest Christmas of my life.
Daddy.
What is it?
You know what?
What, Snooks?
I bet that little boy thought I was Mrs. Santa Claus.
In the MGM Concert Hall tonight, Meredith Willson presents the true story of a melody that is better known than that of any Beethoven symphony, or of any song on the hit parade, or of any folk song that I can think of. But I'm sure there are very few of you who can tell the name of the man who composed it. His name was Franz Gruber. He was born in a little town in Upper Austria almost 150 years ago. His father was a poor linen weaver. So although Franz was interested in music almost from the time he was a baby, there was little money available for study. But Franz Gruber was a boy of talent as well as determination. At home beside his bed, he built into the wall a series of little blocks about the size of the keys of an organ. And there he practiced. One Sunday, the regular church organist having been taken suddenly ill, the boy Franz, only 12 years old, leaped to the organ bench and played the entire service of High Mass from memory. It was just 10 years later, in the year 1818, when he was only 22 years old, that the young man made his deathless contribution to music. The parish priest, a man named Joseph Moore, burst into Gruber's house on Christmas Eve with a poem he had just completed. The priest read the verses to his friend and suggested that Franz supply a melody to accompany them for the Christmas services in the church the next day. Within an hour, Franz Gruber had conceived and finished his masterpiece. It was played and sung in the church at Oberndorf next day without altering a note, and made a profound impression on the Christmas worshipers. However, only 50 years after it was written, all record of the melody's authorship had been lost. A discussion of its origin, which accidentally took place in the presence of the composer's 12-year-old son, led to the discovery that it was not a folk song, but the composition of Franz Gruber. And so let us enjoy it again, as Meredith plays it. And let us be thankful not only for Christmas, but also a little for the obscure and modest Franz Gruber who wrote Silent Night, Holy Night.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, long young virgin mother
couple of weeks ago, you made the statement that women could easily win their husband's praise by changing to the new Maxwell House coffee. Well, at a dinner party last night, one fellow doubted it. He said a man wouldn't notice any difference in the coffee, and even if he did, he wouldn't thank his wife.
I hope you stood up for me.
Certainly I did. After the argument settled down a little bit, our hostess took us in the kitchen and we made 2 cups of coffee. One out of Maxwell House and the other one out of another well-known brand. Then the fellow who started all the trouble had to admit the difference. But he still wouldn't admit women are interested in trying new things to please their husbands.
Bob, your friend must be a bachelor. He's too cynical. No smart wife would ever pass up the opportunity of giving her husband a better-tasting cup of coffee. Anyway, thanks for defending my honor so nobly and so well. Now, as a matter of fact, folks, millions of wives have already earned their husband's thanks by serving the new Maxwell House coffee. We believe this is due to 2 important improvements. First, Joel Cheek's original blend, which made so many friends for Maxwell House, has been still further enriched. Today, this superb blend is smoother and far more mellow than any coffee you've probably ever tried before. Second, the new Radiant Roast process roasts each bean all the way through, as evenly inside as out. It brings out more of the true flavor of the coffee. There's no weak coffee due to under-roasting, no bitter coffee due to parching. So tomorrow, ask your grocer for a pound of the new Maxwell House coffee. It comes in the same blue super vacuum can you've always known. You'll delight in coffee that's richer and smoother with more downright satisfaction than ever. Now, more than ever, this is coffee that's good to the last drop.
What's all the excitement about? Quiet, for heaven's sake.
My dear sir, I don't care what the Archduke told you. I don't like the suit, and I won't pay for it. Good day.
Well, what's the matter, Frank?
What's the matter? Look what my imbecilic tailor sold me for a Tyrolean suit.
Oh, for the love of Frank, where's the rest of it?
My boy, you're so provincial. It's refreshing. The whole Tyrolean costume is historic. The blouse in memory of the Swiss patriot, William Tell. The cross-leather braces, part of the uniform of the ancient Swiss regiment, Les Chasseurs. The green half-hose, a relic from the Saxon peasants, and the green twill shorts, a remnant from Saxe Herald Square.
Well, the hat's no slouch either.
Well, of course, you understand it takes quite a fine figure of a man to wear such a revealing outfit.
Yes, I was just thinking.
Yeah.
Who pumps up your knees, Frank?
Young, you're just jealous. In Switzerland, bare knees are de rigueur.
Yeah. All right, pretty pants. Why are you wearing this outfit?
Well, I'm wearing it in honor of my paternal great-grandfather on my mother's side, a Swiss watchman.
Your great-grandfather made watches?
Oh, just the cases. My great-grandmother gave him the work.
Oh.
All of my ancestors came from the Tyrol, and of course I spent my own boyhood conquering the peaks of Switzerland.
Mountain climbing now.
Yes.
You couldn't climb an anthill, Mr. Morgan.
Alpenstock Morgan, sir. In Switzerland, I was known as the craftiest creeper that ever crawled under a cravat.
Cranberries.
Young, it might interest you to know that I have climbed every important peak not only in Europe but also in America. I'm the only man alive who ever scaled the front of Indian Head Bluff in Colorado.
Never heard of it.
Only 80,000 feet high, that's all.
80,000.
Just about 4 inches less than Mount Everest. But I climbed Indian Head Bluff in 27 minutes flat, wearing only shorts and a tennis shoes.
What a climb.
What a bluff. But the real mountain climbing is
Frank,
really in...
Frank, did I hear you say you'd been in Switzerland?
You heard me. The real mountain
May
climbing...
I ask you...
Go away. Bob, how do you find Meredith these days?
Oh, I just pushed back his hair, and there he is.
You'll soon be ready for cafe work.
Oh.
Where was I?
In Switzerland, Camembert.
Oh. Yeah, Switzerland.
Yeah.
Let me see. Alps Cheese Mountains. Saint-Maurice. Oh, those golden days and nights in Saint-Maurice. I always stayed at the exclusive Hotel Bête Noire, favorite resort of continental society, where the rooms are $100 and $200 a day.
Well, what's the difference?
Well, the $200 rooms had mousetraps. When I last visited the hotel, my suite overlooked...
Frank, could I ask you...
Go away! My suite overlooked the ice arena. The most beautiful rink in all Europe. 80 feet in diameter, a perfect circle of crystal clear ice. I couldn't resist the temptation.
What temptation was that, Frank?
Well, to revisit the scene of my triumph in the Olympics in 1912, when I was the idol of the crowds, the pet of the photographers.
Frank!
Yes.
You were an Olympic champion?
1,000 times a champion, my boy. I won the speed skating, slow skating, figure skating, and cheap skating. In skiing, I won the downhill slalom and the uphill glide. But you should see me on a sled, Bob.
A bobsled?
You slay me. I won the 4-man and 2-man bobsled.
Now listen here,
and...
Frank. I want to ask you a question, darn it.
Go away!
No, darn it.
Why?
You've been in Switzerland and you can tell me.
All right. Anything from Switzerland. What is it, Meredith?
Do I look like a St. Bernard?
You mind if I answer that question?
Pray do.
Go away, Meredith.
Darn it. I won't go away.
Oh.
I know a mountain climbing joke.
Oh.
You want to hear an Alp calling to its mate?
No.
Hi, Cliff. Darn it.
This is no place for me, Bob. I'm going home. I can't.
Now, wait a minute, Skee Ball.
What?
I want to hear some more of that mountain lion.
Yes. Well, I'll never forget the first time I skated on the rink at the Bête Noire, my European debut. With studied carelessness, not appearing to notice the crowd, I described a series of sparkling glissandos. Then, pretending to flick an imaginary snow crystal from my skate, I pirouetted on one toe, a flashing human gyroscope, till the crowd burst into spontaneous cheers.
That got him, huh?
Bob, I can hear it now, the ringing of their cheers mingling with the notes of a church bell far across the valley, where the peasants were celebrating the old Swiss festival of Kirschnissensonntag.
What's that?
Walnut Sunday.
I'll have a cherry coke.
Small or large?
Large, no ice.
Coming up. Returning to the rink for an encore, I threw caution to the winds. I skated faster and faster. Even the musicians were infected by the mad gaiety of my whirling, dashing performance. I finished off with a series of precision tinticas that sent the audience into hysteria. The ladies waved their toques and shook their astracans. I mean those that had them.
You must have been a sensation.
Yes, the next day they put ice in the rink. Well, I've got to be going now. Oh,
Who's this?
no, here's my tailor again. I won't pay for this suit, my man. In the first place, you haven't caught the spirit of the Tyrol. And in the second place, the pants don't fit.
That's not the only place they don't fit.
Well, I'll make them any way you want, Mr. Morgan. I can make them small or larger. Now, we can
I haven't got time now. You've got to...
Well, look, I have my tools right with me. I can do it right now. Just take a minute.
Oh, your tools.
This ought to be good.
Here, just...
Little hand tailoring on the air.
Yes. Well, now, just a minute. Come here, young.
Hey, what are you going to do?
Well, I tell you
wait a
where
minute.
I think that these ought to be...
cut it out.
As a matter of fact...
Somebody stop this madman. Hey, he's cutting my pants up.
Now, I have to please. I don't believe that'll do it all.
That's a fine thing. Hey.
They'll have to be at least this.
Couldn't you wait to get home to do this?
It must be at least that.
Well, that isn't bad. Now, that was pretty fine.
Well, I'll bring it back to you Monday then.
Oh, well, that's all right.
Frank,
What?
I'm awfully embarrassed. I don't know how to get off.
Oh, well, just follow me off, Bob.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Young has gone out to borrow another pair of pants. But I notice it's about time for our old Thursday evening custom. You know, at this happy season of the year, the holiday mood is everywhere. You can see it on the faces of the children and the actions of your neighbors. Everyone is thinking about the nice things they can do for others and how they can bring more pleasure to their friends, how they can make this holiday truly one of peace on earth, goodwill toward men. And at this joyous Christmas season, we too are happy. For Maxwell House is bringing more pleasure to more firesides than ever before. And now, won't you join us in our moment of relaxation? A steaming, fragrant cup of Maxwell House coffee. Here's yours and yours. Sugar? Cream? We pause briefly for station identification.
The first half of Good News of 1939 from 85 years ago, December 22nd, 1938. We'll have the conclusion following these messages here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Do you know how old the school building in your community is? If it's over 25 years old, the chances are that it's woefully inadequate. Join with the groups in your community working for better school conditions. Remember, better schools build a stronger America.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of Good News of 1939 from 85 years ago, December 22nd, 1938.
This is Warren Hull again, and we continue our Maxwell House Good News Show.
Disappoint me, Honolulu, my Honolulu, my the coral
Bob Young again with a new pair of pants. And now, ladies and gentlemen, as a special pre-Christmas treat, Maxwell House presents Baby Snooks reciting The Owl and the Pussycat by Edward Lear. Bring her on, Daddy.
All right, Snooks. Go on. Don't be nervous.
Oh, Daddy.
Wait a minute. Let me straighten your dress. There. What's the matter?
I ain't got no hanky, Daddy.
Oh, wait. I'll blow your nose. Come on now, blow. Then, are you all set?
Uh-huh.
Well, go ahead.
The Owl and the Pussycat by Edward Lear. The Owl and the Pussycat went to sea in a beautiful pea green boat. They took some honey and plenty of money wrapped up in a 5-pound note. The owl looked up at the stars above and sang to a small guitar. Oh, lovely pussy, oh, pussy, my love. What a beautiful pussy you are. You are, you are. What a beautiful pussy. Pussy said to the owl. Oh, you elegant fowl. How charmingly sweet you sing. Oh, let us be married so long we have tarried. But what shall we do for a ring? They sailed away for a year and a day to the land where the bone trees grow. And there in the wood a piggy stood. I like that. With a ring at the end of his nose. His nose. At the ring at the end of his nose. Dear pig, are you willing to sell for a shilling your ring? Said the piggy. I will. So they hurried away and were married next day by the turkey who lives on the hill. They dined on mince and slices of quince, which they ate with a rumsible spoon, and hand in hand on the edge of the strand, they danced by the light of the moon. The moon, the moon. They danced by the light of the moon. And I forgot the rest.
Oh, that's all there is. There's no more.
No more?
No.
It is indeed a pleasure to welcome back to our MGM Theater of the Air tonight a young man whom you Maxwell House listeners have voted your favorite dramatic actor on this program, my good friend, Robert Taylor. Bob will appear with a young lady who's played with him before in our theater, the charming and personable Miss Rita Johnson. Our stars appear tonight in a fictitious playlet directed by MGM's producer, Edgar Selwyn, and especially written for this program by Carlos Del Prado and adapted by Don Milo. The title, Rendezvous at Dawn. Music, Meredith, please. It is spring, the time when eager proprietors of the many sidewalk cafes which characteristically dot the streets of all European cities begin to rub their hands enthusiastically. For with spring comes romance, and with romance, business. At the Café Royale, occupying their favorite table, are Eric Rapinard, played by Robert Taylor, and Vilma Duro, played by Rita Johnson. They are young and gay, yet strangely wise. Wise perhaps because their very lives often depend upon their wits, where Eric and Vilma serve their beloved country in its most dangerous and thankless capacity. They are spies.
Everything was all right, madame? Monsieur?
A lovely lunch, Philip.
Thank you, madame.
That'll be all, Philip, thank you.
Thank you, monsieur.
You know, darling, Philip reminds me of that funny little waiter in Trieste. That was where I met you, if you remember.
Of course I remember.
He insisted we change our table because we couldn't see the
It
moon.
was a glorious moon.
It was a glorious night. Our first together. I've often wondered what we ate, you know. When I'm with you, I never know what I eat or drink.
Darling.
Well, can you blame me? It's enough to confuse anyone. The fragrance of lilacs in the air, bougainvillea on a trellis, the living, breathing angel so close I can feel her enchantment stealing through my heart.
Oh, you always say such beautiful things that I never know what to answer.
Well, why don't you just say you love me?
I love you.
What could be more beautiful? I love you. 3 little words. So powerful that for the sound of them, men give up kingdoms, glory, honor, and I give you heartache, suspense, danger.
No, that isn't so. I asked for that, all of it. I'm proud of every moment, every sacrifice I've made for our country, but somehow I've often wondered if I'd have felt that way without you, because now that the work is almost over, I find myself wanting something more than just a lot of excitement and intrigue. I want...
You only want what every other woman wants? A home, protection, security?
Yes, darling, that's it. That's what I want. I know of a little place in Switzerland, Moto by the lake. We could only take a tiny cottage there.
A tiny cottage by the lake. Yes, I'd like that, too. In the evening, a log fire crackling merrily, you in my arms.
Watching the flames dance until we both fall fast asleep. Oh, I've dreamt of that, Eric. Oh, how I've dreamt of it.
I've thought of those things, too, Wilma. I want you to have them. And after tonight, if everything goes well, you can.
After tonight? Then you got the orders. What do we do?
Well, you see, they've decided not to wait.
Eric, you mean the capital?
Yes. The trouble there last week brought on a crisis. Franz Bulig and I have been ordered to make the final move.
Bulig? But why not me?
Those things we never know, dear.
That isn't so, Eric. We've always worked together. We saved each other's lives time and again. Why, then, is it Franz instead of me?
I told you I don't know, Wilma. I get my orders.
You do know. You're just trying to protect me. You asked for Franz, didn't you?
Darling.
Didn't you?
Now, darling,
You're
please.
afraid, Eric. You're afraid something will happen. Oh, darling, don't you know I wouldn't mind any danger so long as we're together. Please let me go with you.
Vilma, we've asked so much of fate, you and I. We've been awfully lucky. This time we might not be so lucky. Perhaps our just asking for me alone won't be too much.
Oh, Eric, I can't let you go. I can't.
Stop it, Vilma. The girl I love has courage. She doesn't know fear.
Not for myself, darling. To die is one thing, but to lose you and go on living, that's another. That's what I couldn't stand. Suppose you fail.
I won't fail. I've too much to live for. A toast, then. A toast to tomorrow. And to Mr. and Mrs. Eric Rapinow in the tiny cottage at Montreux.
Yes, darling. To Mr. and Mrs. Eric Rapinow.
There are no messages? Yes, madame, I just asked again. No messages. Please, madame, you've had nothing all day. Try just a cup of tea.
All right, Marina, just set it there. I'll drink it later. See you it is.
Yes, madame.
Quickly.
Yes, madame.
Quickly.
Where's your mistress?
Come in, Mala. You may go, Marina. Yes, Mala, what's wrong? Oh, you're hurt.
No, I'm all right. You must get away from here at once.
Something's gone wrong. What is it?
Well, after Eric and Franz left last night, we learned our plans were known.
Oh.
I tried to head them off, but I ran into a detachment of soldiers. I was wounded in escape.
What happened to Eric, don't you know?
No, he was due back this morning, and there's been no word.
But isn't there some way you can
Wilma?
find out?
I promised Eric I'd look after you if anything happened. That's why I came. You are suspected. Even now the soldiers may be on their way here. We've got to leave at once.
Don't you understand? I can't go. I promised Eric I'd wait.
Down there on the street. They're watching the house. Now, then, do you believe me? We'll have to take a chance for the back way. Hurry, every moment counts.
No, I can't go. We would have been married today.
Vilma, I've risked my life to come here only because I promised Eric to see that you were taken care of. Now, are you coming with me, or will I have to carry you?
Leave me alone, can't you?
Open the door.
Please put me down. I won't go.
Open the door. 5 years have passed since the day Eric Rapinow failed to return to Vilma Giroux. Years which have weighed heavily on the imprisoned Eric. For little news from the outside world is reached. Once a new prisoner brought news that a General August Renar had married a woman thought to be Vilma. With this tormenting thought constantly in mind, Eric joins two fellow prisoners in a desperate plan for escape. After spending months working at the bars of their tiny cell window, an opportunity finally presents itself. It is night. Hopefully, desperately, the prisoners lay their final plans.
The new guard takes over on the hour. You know what to do.
Yes. Now remember, the guard's name is Bond.
I remember. We mustn't fail. Fail? After 5 years in this hell, we can't fail.
I wonder what a glass of wine will taste like. It's been so long I can't remember.
Wine. And real food again. And music. That's what I want most. To hear music.
Wine, music. That's what you want, is it? Compared to what I want, they're nothing.
I hope you find her, Eric.
To hear her voice again. To hold her in my arms. That's more than wine or music. That's ecstasy.
Here comes the guard.
Remember.
Help. Who is it? What is wrong?
I'm sick.
What's the matter? Here are the keys. The door, quick. Drag him inside.
Good work, man. Help me with these boots.
Put on his tunic, Eric. Hurry. And his sword.
Now, follow me. Come on.
Listen. What's that?
We must have found Bonk. Come on, we'll have to run for it.
Hey there, guard. Any prisoners pass your way? Come on.
There's the border. I can see the lights from here.
Thank God.
Can you make it, Max?
Of course he can. We're almost there.
Yes. Almost there.
Well, let's hurry while it's still dark.
Yes, it'll be easier to slip through. Wait a minute. What's that? There's someone coming up the road.
Looks like a peasant with his cart.
That's good. I'll question him.
Take no risk, Eric. Careful.
Don't worry. I'll handle him.
Stay there, my good fellow. A word with you.
What is it I can do for you, monsieur?
Well, we're strangers about it. How's the road at the border? Is it difficult to get through?
Not tonight, monsieur. The soldiers are mostly all at the old castle.
Then we're in luck.
It's a fine way to neglect their duty. And what is it at the castle that interests them so?
I don't rightly know, monsieur. Every year there's a big to-do at this time. It said General Auguste Rignard celebrates his wedding anniversary.
Rignard? That was the name.
Thank you, my good man. That will be all.
Glad to be of service to you, monsieur.
Come, Eric. We're losing time. Let's make the best of our good fortune.
Oh, you and Max go ahead. I'll join you later.
Why, Eric, what is it?
His name was Rignard. It must be the same one.
Don't be a fool, Eric. You can't stop now. There's freedom within your very reach.
Quiet, Johann. Eric, perhaps the story wasn't true. Come on with us. Give yourself time to think.
No, I've got to see her.
Oh, but you can wait until it's safer, Eric. You wouldn't have a chance tonight with all those soldiers there.
I said no.
Johann is right, Eric. Don't be too hasty.
Hasty? Don't you realize I've waited 5 years for this? Now I must see her. Tonight.
May I wish you another year of happiness, Countess?
Thank you. You're very kind.
You see that everything bores her.
She is beautiful, though. No wonder the general married her.
May I have the honor of this dance contest?
No, thank you.
Not even one waltz?
I'm sorry, I don't know you.
Are you sure?
Quite sure.
Perhaps if I hold my hand over my beard.
Eric.
Shall we dance?
Oh, yes, yes. Oh, Eric, I can't believe it. It can't be you.
Why not?
But you've changed so. Your face, even your voice.
5 years, Velma.
Oh, 5 years. Oh, Eric, you shouldn't have come here. It's dangerous.
Nothing could keep me. Not another day, another moment. Hear your voice. Feel the touch of your hand. No, I had to come.
It's wild. It's crazy.
It's everything I've thought about for 5 years.
Oh, darling, hold me closer. Eric, those officers, they're staring.
Because you're so beautiful.
But they're looking at you.
Because they're green with envy.
Oh, Eric.
Nothing unusual. The handsomest couple on
But
the
if
floor.
they recognize you...
It's barely possible if you didn't.
Eric, you must go immediately.
I'll finish this waltz.
We'll dance over towards the entrance. You can slip out some way.
Can I?
I'll meet you tomorrow. I'll come to you anywhere, I promise. Only please go before they catch you.
You really mean that, don't you?
Of course I do.
I mean about tomorrow. You really would come to me, wouldn't you?
You know I would.
No matter where I were.
Yes, dear. Now please go.
No, not yet, Velma.
Don't you realize the danger?
I only realize how long I've waited for this moment.
Oh, darling, darling, you don't know what it's been like. Not even knowing if you were alive, just waiting and praying and waiting. And the news of 2 spies had been shot. One was Franz Bulick. I knew he was working with you. It was usual mystery about the other one.
And you thought it was me, thought I was dead.
Yes, what else could I think?
Yeah, I was dead. All these years, I know that now.
Eric.
And now it's like living again.
Darling.
Remember this waltz?
Yes. Cafe Royale. A little table under a lilac tree.
You do remember.
2 people very much in love, planning their tomorrow.
Their tomorrow that never came. Funny, isn't it, how the music brings it all back?
Every word, every thought, every look.
Oh, darling.
Hold me closer. Tell me it isn't a dream. Tell me you've really come back.
Yes, I've come back. I, Eric Rapinoe.
They'll hear you. Everyone's looking this way.
I can't see them. I don't even know they exist. All I know is I'm back and you're in my arms and we're alive again.
Let's dance out on the terrace, the 2 of us together.
Just like the Royale?
Yes. There might even be a lilac tree.
What, out there?
Why not?
I don't know. Well, here we are. Shall we go out?
Yes.
It's almost sunrise.
Not a soul out here but us.
No, not a soul.
What's the matter, dear?
Nothing, darling.
Eric, those shadows in the courtyard there against the wall.
Probably lilac.
No, look, they're soldiers.
Are they? No, you're just imagining.
Oh, Eric, you shouldn't have come here. We must be mad, both of us. You could be walking down those stairs and facing a firing squad if anyone knew.
I think of that now.
Because we're fools, risking your life for one waltz.
The best gamble I ever made.
Well, I mustn't anymore, darling.
Why not? We always took chances, didn't we? That's what made life so thrilling. Paris, London, Budapest, Cairo. Wherever we were, we took chances. And we always knew that someday there'd be a blindfold, a cigarette, and a firing squad.
Stop it, Eric. Don't say any more.
I'm sorry.
Oh, Eric, what are we doing? We're out of our heads. But, it's so wonderful to be together. Everything's wonderful. Look, even the sky is glorious. See, the dawn is just beginning to break.
We'd better go back.
Go back? Where?
You, your husband, and I...
You know I can't do that. I married him because I thought you were dead. He knows that, too.
You told him?
I told him I'd been in love once, that I could never love anyone again. He wanted me anyway, but why talk of what's past? It's tomorrow we must think about. Tomorrow? Yes.
It's almost sunrise now.
Well, today, then. We'll go to Motra by the lake. Remember, darling, that's the place I always wanted for our honeymoon.
Yes.
We won't let anyone keep us away from it now.
No.
There won't be any more secret missions, no last-minute orders to keep us apart.
No, darling.
Just you and I.
The tiny cottage by the lake.
Yes.
Wilma. Oh, there you are, my dear. I've been looking for you.
I'm so sorry I didn't realize. Oh, Auguste, may I present Monsieur...
I believe I know. Eric Rapinoe.
General?
Oh.
Almost sunrise, Monsieur Rapinoe.
Yes, General, I know. Thank you, madame, for your kindness. Good night.
Au revoir.
Good night, madame.
Now, my dear, shall we go in?
Yes.
tell me, what did you think of Monsieur Rapinard?
Oh, a very good dancer.
What else?
He seemed a perfect gentleman. What else is there?
Aren't you curious?
Don't understand.
Didn't he tell you?
No. What are you trying to say?
Well, my dear, Monsieur Rapinard has just paid us a very original compliment.
Really?
Yes. As you know, Eric Rapinard, besides being a gentleman, happens to be a very dangerous spy. He was to be shot this morning. And as his last request, he asked for one waltz with the most beautiful woman in all Europe. I could hardly refuse, could I?
Oh.
Shall we dance, my dear?
Of the innumerable glorious melodies that Jerome Kern has given to the world, Mr. Kern's own favorite is Old Man River, which, like the lyrics of the song itself, seems destined to just keep rolling on forever. Tony Martin sings this old showboat favorite for you, friends of Maxwell House.
Darkies all work on the Mississippi. Darkies all work while the white folks play. Hauling those boats from the dawn to sunset. Getting no rest till the judgment day. Don't look up and don't look down. You don't just make the white folks frown. Bend your knee and bow your head and pull that rope until you're dead. Let me go away from the Mississippi. Let me go away from the white man boss. Show me that stream called the River Jordan. That's the old stream that I long to cross. Old Man River, that old man River, he must know something, but don't say nothing. He just keeps rolling, he just keeps rolling along. Just keep rolling along. He don't plant taters, he don't plant cotton, and them that plants 'em is soon forgotten. But old man River, he just keeps rolling along. You and me, we sweat and strain, body all aching and racked with pain. Tote that barge, lift that sail, you get a little drunk, and you land in jail. I'll get weary and sick of trying. I'm tired of living and fear of dying. But old man River, he just keeps rolling
Say, Bob, how would you like me to help me make a test?
I'd be glad to, Warren. What's the idea?
Well, I want to demonstrate to every woman listening in how she can be sure of getting her money's worth when she buys coffee.
Well, how are you going to do that?
First, smell this unopened can of Maxwell House coffee.
Okay. Can't smell a thing.
Well, now, smell this package of coffee.
It smells great.
Sure it does. But that's flavor you'll never get in the cup. You see, the reason coffee flavor escapes is because the container the coffee is packed in isn't airtight. Scientific tests reveal that coffee, whether ground or in the whole bean, starts to lose flavor the moment it's roasted. In fact, ground coffee packed in ordinary containers where air can get at it loses as much as 45% of its flavor, nearly half, in only 9 days. But with Maxwell House, the coffee is taken fresh and fragrant from the roasting ovens and packed in a super vacuum can from which all air is first removed. Then this famous blue super vacuum can is sealed under vacuum to keep the air out. Thus, no air can get in, no flavor can get out. So Maxwell House comes to you not just days fresh, but roaster fresh. Try the new and improved Maxwell House. Not only has the blend now been further enriched, but due to the radiant roast process, which roasts each bean all the way through, you'll get ever so much more of the true flavor of the coffee. You'll find it far richer, smoother, and more delicious than ever before. Ask your grocer for the new and improved Maxwell House in the familiar blue super vacuum can. The one way known to science to keep coffee truly fresh.
There's a form of parlor entertainment much in favor during the holidays. Anything to do with quiz or puzzles is a game that everybody plays. If you're really in the mood for riddles, here's a question I would like to raise. What makes the world go round? The breezes blow, the roses grow, the crickets crick, and the dogs bow wow. The clocks tick tick, and the cats meow.
I know, Ring the Young. I know.
Oh, quiet, Snooks. I'm singing.
Oh, is that what it is?
What makes the world go round? The rivers flow, the roosters crow, the whistles blow, and the cowbells ring. It may be snowing, but you think it's spring.
I know, Mr. Young. I know.
Quiet.
It's all because you won somebody's favor, and life becomes a horse of a different flavor.
Meredith, what makes the world go round?
Why, melodies, Bob, and fine harmonies. A stirring march or a minor strain. Some happy song or a love refrain.
Mr. Wilson, I know.
Quiet, Snooks.
Hi.
Frank, what makes the world go round?
Why, perhaps a good smoke or a little joke. And, of course, a lovely lady, a pretty face, a table for two in some quiet place. Wow!
How about you, Bob Taylor?
Well, I'll take my ranch. Horse to ride. My boots and my hunting gun. A nice big campfire beneath the sky. That's my idea of fun.
Tony, what makes the world go round?
Well, Bob, a song to sing or a tune to swing, a fine arrangement or maybe a good part to play, Maxwell House coffee and Alice Faye.
That makes it, Mr. Martin. I know.
Oh, Snooks, will you please be quiet? Oh, what are you crying for?
You won't let me say what I know, and I know what makes the world go round.
All right, Snooks, what makes the world go round?
Well, being kind to Christmas time and giving to the poor. Like I learned at Sunday school. Live by the golden rule. Love your mommy and daddy, and be good to all your friends. Peace on earth, goodwill to men. You see? I know.
Meredith, excuse me a moment. I think we ought to take a hint from Snooks and wish all our friends a Merry Christmas.
Well, I'd like to wish them all a Merry Christmas, too.
So would I.
Count me in on that. What about you, Rita?
Well, I certainly would like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas.
Beg pardon, Bob, but right about here, don't you think it would be a nice thing if everybody wished our friends a Merry Christmas?
Oh. Meredith, where have you been? That's what we've been talking about, but we don't know how to do it.
Well, why don't you sing it?
Now, why didn't I think of that? All right, everybody ready?
Yeah.
Here goes.
Merry Christmas, everyone, from us to you, and you, and you.
Ladies and gentlemen, be with us next Thursday and tell your friends about our big New Year's show. Wallace Beery and Robert Taylor and Mervyn LeRoy's new MGM thrilling and exciting drama, Stand Up and Fight. We'll also have with us charming Florence Rice, Douglas MacPhail, Fanny Bryce, Hanley Stafford, Frank Morgan, Meredith Wilson, and Robert Young. A special guest will be NBC's sports announcer and commentator of news of the day, Bill Stern. Take it, Bob Young.
There's one Christmas treat you can give your family. Take them to see MGM's brand new picture, Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. They will never stop thanking you for taking them. And now, speaking for the Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer Studios and our entire Good News staff, may I wish you all a very Merry Christmas. Echoing the thoughts of every true American who participated in the celebration of Rededication Day, the very best we can wish for you is that this Christmas and every Christmas finds you happier and even more proud that you are an American living in America. Merry Christmas and good night.
Now, this is Warren Hull saying good night and wishing each and every one a very Merry Christmas for Maxwell House, the coffee that's always good to the last drop. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
And there you have it, 85 years ago, December 22nd, 1938, good news of 1939. Up next, A Christmas Carol, starring Edmund Gwenn. Yep, that'll be next.
When you look over your morning mail, there's one thing you can be sure of. The bills always seem to arrive right on time. How do they do it? Ever notice that businessmen use zip code? How about you? Use zip code on all your mail and keep the good news moving fast, too. Don't tie up the mail. Use zip code.
On our Saturday Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, an episode of the CBS Radio Workshop, All Is Bright. Also, the Red Ryder Christmas Story from 1948. Seal Test Variety Theater's broadcast from 1948. An episode of Tales of the Texas Rangers. And another episode of Lum and Abner. Not a very Christmassy episode. All the others are Christmas shows, but Lum and Abner is... Mousy Gray has just gone off the deep end. We'll tell you why. Well, you'll figure it out a little bit later. That's coming up. Right now, an episode of Stars Over Hollywood, brought to you by Carnation Condensed Milk, in case you're wondering about the condensed reference in the information about the Stars Over Hollywood show, 72 years ago, December 22nd, 1951.
This is Edmund Gwenn with a welcome to Stars Over Hollywood, presented by Carnation Evaporated Milk. And here is your host for Carnation, Art Bellinger.
Welcome to Hollywood, home and workshop of the world's most glamorous people. We're happy to say that each week Stars Over Hollywood is brought to you by Carnation, the world's favorite brand of evaporated milk. And today we present transcribed A Christmas Carol, starring Edmund Gwenn. Ladies, when you buy milk, remember that no other kind of milk has as many uses as Carnation.
Carnation for cooking.
Carnation for coffee.
Carnation for baby feeding.
Good, good, good. For milk that's extra good, you should get the brand that's called Carnation. Rich, rich, rich. For milk that's creamy rich, you should get the brand that's called Carnation.
Yes, it's Carnation, bringing you Stars Over Hollywood. And speaking of stars, here is the distinguished actor of the stage and screen, Academy Award winner Edmund Gwenn. Mr. Gwenn, it is indeed a pleasure and a privilege to present you to our radio audience.
Oh, thank you, Art. And I consider it my privilege to be able to further the spirit of Christmas through the work of one of my favorite authors, Charles Dickens.
You know, Mr. Gwenn, this is going to be quite a switch for you.
Mm-hmm.
In your portrayal of Santa Claus in the motion picture Miracle of 34th Street, you symbolized everything that Christmas means. Whereas today, you're...
Today, Art, I shall be quite the opposite, I hope, as the dispirited and embittered Scrooge.
And that's a performance to which we've certainly been looking forward. Your characterization of Scrooge is no less famous than that of your Santa Claus. And friends, while you're getting the family together for today's presentation of Dickens' Christmas Carol, there's this I'd like to say about the product that brings it to you. Carnation Evaporated Milk. No other milk has as many uses as Carnation. You can use it for most cream purposes. You can use it for all milk purposes. And either way, you'll find Carnation a blessing in your kitchen. For Carnation is milk that's more than double rich, concentrated by having water removed. Undiluted, Carnation has the consistency of good, rich cream and is heavy enough to whip. Mixed with an equal amount of water, Carnation is good, rich milk, richer than your state standard for bottled milk. And the cost is in your favor, too. Carnation costs less than half as much as cream, and a lot less than bottled milk. So why not follow this economical way to richer, more delicious foods? Keep well stocked with Carnation, the milk from contented cows. And now, Act One of A Christmas Carol, starring Edmund Gwenn in the dual role of Charles Dickens and Ebenezer Scrooge. Curtain going up. The scene is old London town on a bleak, cold December evening in the year 1843. Seated behind a table in a drab, cheerless, unheated room is a worried-looking man. He frowns as he scribbles laboriously with a scratchy pen, carefully putting words down on the paper spread before him.
A Christmas Carol in prose, being a ghost story of Christmas.
Mr. Dickens? Mr. Dickens!
The thing to do is simply not answer it. Perhaps it'll go away.
It's no good pretending you're not there. I saw you come in.
Oh, dear. I suppose I may as well face it.
Mr. Dickens. So you finally decided to answer me.
Good evening, Mrs. Bumbletwist. Won't you come in?
It's no good turning your charm with words on me, Mr. Dickens. I've come for me rent, and I means to have me rent, and I'm not leaving this room till I has. I intends to get
terribly sorry, Mrs. Bumbletwist, but I promise you'll have your rent first thing tomorrow.
You've said that before.
This time, there's no doubt of it. You see, tonight, I'm going to write a story that I hope will turn out to be... my very best story. It seems to me that it ought to begin, let's see. Yeah. Marley was dead. There's no doubt ever about that. Old Marley was dead as a doornail, and Scrooge knew it. How could it be otherwise? Marley and Scrooge have been partners for... I don't know how many years. Scrooge, a squeezing, wrenching, grasping, scraping, clutching, covetous old sinner. And once upon a time, of all the good days in the year, old Scrooge sat busy in his counting house. He was counting his money and keeping one eye on his clerk, Bob Cratchit, when the door opened and Scrooge's nephew, Fred, came in.
Merry Christmas, Uncle. God save you.
Oh, humbug.
Uncle.
Nephew. Oh, you keep Christmas in your own way and let me keep it in mine.
But you don't keep it.
Let me leave it alone, then. Much good it has ever done you.
Well, there are many things, Uncle, from which I might have derived good, by which I haven't profited, I dare say, and Christmas is one of them. And therefore, Uncle, though it has never put a scrap of gold or silver in my pocket, I believe that it has done me good and will do me good, and I say, God bless it.
Who's that? That you, Cratchit?
Yes, sir. Excuse me, sir.
Another sound from you, and you'll keep Christmas by losing your situation.
Oh, now, don't be angry, Uncle. Join us for dinner tomorrow.
Why?
Because it's Christmas and we'd like you to spend it with us.
Christmas? Oh, humbug. Scrooge dismissed his nephew curtly and refused the invitation. The door had no sooner closed than Scrooge turned his attention to his clerk, Cratchit. And as the closing hour arrived, he called him into his office. You'll want all day off tomorrow, I suppose.
If it's quite convenient, sir.
It's not convenient. And it's not fair. Poor excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December. No. Oh, well, I suppose you must have the whole day. Be here all the earlier the next morning, though. Scrooge closed the office and walked to his chambers. Went in. Then he lit a candle and looked everywhere. Sitting room, bedroom, under the table, the sofa, and the closet. Yeah, quite satisfied, he closed his door, locked himself in, put on his dressing gown and slippers, and sat down before the fire. Suddenly he heard a clanking noise. Deep down below, as if some person were dragging a heavy chain behind him. But the chains came closer, and squinting into the dimly lit shadows, Scrooge beheld an apparition he immediately recognized.
Ebenezer Scrooge!
Marley. Jacob Marley's ghost. What do you want with me?
Much.
Who are you?
Ask me who I was.
Huh? Who were you then?
In life, I was your partner.
Huh?
Jacob Marley.
I don't believe it. It's humbug. Humbug, I tell you. Oh, mercy. Mercy, dreadful apparition.
Do you believe in me?
I do. I must. But why? Why do spirits walk the earth? And why do you come to me?
It is required of every man that the spirit within him should walk abroad among his fellow men and travel far and wide.
Uh-huh.
And if that spirit goes not forth in life, it is condemned to do so after death. It is doomed to wander through the world and witness what it cannot share, but might have shared on earth, and turn to happiness. Oh!
Jacob. Oh, good Jacob, speak. Comfort to me, Jacob.
I am here tonight to warn you that you have yet a chance and hope of escaping my fate.
Ah, you were always a good friend to me. Thank you, Jacob, thank you.
You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
I'd rather not, if you don't mind.
Without their visits, you cannot hope to shun the path I tread.
Huh?
Expect the first tomorrow when the bell tolls 1.
1?
The second on the next night at the same hour.
Oh.
The third upon the next night when the last stroke of 12 has ceased to vibrate.
Oh.
Farewell, Ebenezer. Farewell.
With these words, the apparitions walked backward and faded through the door. Scrooge examined it. It was still firmly locked. He tried to say, but the word caught in his throat. So, without undressing, he went straight to bed and fell fast asleep.
And so the curtain falls on the first act of today's radio presentation of Dickens' Christmas Carol, starring Academy Award winner Edmund Gwenn. Before we return to the second act, here is Carnation's Home Service Director, Mary Blake, with a wonderful suggestion for making the most of leftover turkey.
Yes, Art, I have an excellent recipe here for turkey hash and cream that I want to pass on to the ladies. I'd like to suggest that everyone interested get a pencil and paper now because I just have time to give the recipe once.
Turkey hash and cream, you say. Sounds mighty tasty.
Yes, and it's very easy to make, Art. It can be prepared just before serving or browned ahead of time and placed in the oven.
Well, I think everyone's ready with pencil and paper now, Mary, so let's have this wonderful recipe for turkey hash and cream.
All right, here we go. Melt 1/3 cup of butter in a skillet. Add 2 cups diced boiled potatoes. Then 2 cups cooked diced turkey. Season to taste, and then add 1 cup undiluted Carnation evaporated milk. Cook until all ingredients are thoroughly warm. The potatoes and turkey will get crusty and brown. Stir occasionally, of course. Garnish with chopped parsley, and supper's ready.
Well, now, that sounded simple enough and delicious, too. Did you get that, everybody? Turkey hash in cream for 4 people. And the wonderful part is that by using Carnation, you save the added cost of expensive cream. Carnation, you know, costs less than half as much as cream. And rich? Say, Carnation is more than double rich. It's the milk that whips. Mary, come back again with more dishes like that splendid turkey hash and cream. Will you do that?
Next week, Art. Bye.
Bye, Mary. We return now to the second act of A Christmas Carol, starring Edmund Gwenn in the dual role of Charles Dickens and Ebenezer Scrooge.
When Scrooge awoke, he was aware of a clock in a neighboring church striking the quarter. So he listened for the hour. Finally, it struck. 1 o'clock. Oh, but that's impossible, Scrooge thought. It had been after 2 when he went to bed. Could he have slept clear round the clock? Oh, well, as he was speculating on this turn of events, there was a sudden burst of light. The curtains of his bed were drawn aside, and there stood a strange figure, like a child. His hair was long and white with age, yet its skin hadn't a wrinkle in it. And somehow, Scrooge knew that this was the first of the spirits of whom Marley had spoken. Are you the spirit, sir, whose coming was foretold to me?
I am.
Well, who are you?
I am the ghost of Christmas past. Your past.
Oh.
Rise and walk with me.
As the words were spoken, Scrooge and the spirit passed through the window and stood upon an open country road. All had vanished, and with it the darkness, for it was now a cold, clear winter day.
Is this place familiar to you, Ebenezer?
Well, I was reared in this place. I was born here.
Strange to have forgotten it for so many years. Let us go on.
They walked along the road of Scrooge's childhood, recalling every gate and post, tree and incident.
Tarry not here, Ebenezer. There is much to see, and the time grows short. Let us pay a visit now to old Fezziwig.
Fezziwig? Well, I was apprenticed there.
Ho there, Ebenezer, dear boy. Now, Dick, no more work tonight. It's Christmas Eve. Now, clear away, me lads. Let's have a lot of room here. We're going to have a party for everyone.
Fezziwig was a good man, a fine man. He made us all happy that day.
A small matter.
How can you say that? He was a kind, wonderful employer. A generous
What is it, Ebenezer? What's the matter?
Nothing. I'd just like to be able to say a word or two to my clerk just now, that's all.
That's enough, I think. Come, our time is up.
Oh.
I must conduct you home.
The next moment, Scrooge found himself back in his bed. And to his complete surprise, the clock was again striking. There was another flash of brilliant light, and the whole room underwent a transformation. The walls and ceiling were suddenly hung with living green. Heaped up on the floor, to form a kind of throne, were turkeys, geese, game, poultry, Great joints of meat, suckling pigs, long wreaths of sausages, mince pies, plum puddings, barrels of oysters, red-hot chestnuts, cherry-cheeked apples, juicy oranges, immense cakes, and... seething bowls of punch that made the chamber dim with their delicious steam. In easy state upon this throne there sat a jolly giant, roaring with laughter, like old St. Nicholas himself.
Come in, Ebenezer, and know me better, man. I am the ghost of Christmas present. Look upon me. You never have seen the like of me before, have you?
No, never. But if you have anything to teach me, you let me profit by it.
Good. Touch me robe. There now, away we go.
Scrooge did as he was told and held fast. Soon he and the second spirit stood outside the humble home of Scrooge's clerk, Bob Cratchit. The family was gathered round the table, and although there was very little to eat, everyone was smiling and laughing, and seemed to be having a wonderful time.
There now. Is everyone here?
Yes.
Are you comfortable, Tiny Tim?
Oh, yes, Father, thank you.
As comfortable as can be, I suppose. But come, this is a joyous occasion. Let us all raise our glasses and drink a toast. A Merry Christmas to us all.
And God bless us, everyone.
Spirit, tell me if the little crippled boy, Tiny Tim, will live.
I see a vacant seat in the poor chimney corner, and a crutch without an owner carefully preserved. If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, the child shall die.
No, kind spirit. Say he will be spared.
If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, the child will die.
Oh, what can I do? How can I alter the future?
It is in your power more than you may think. The clock sounds the hour of 12. It is time for your next and final journey.
The pleasant ghost of Christmas present vanished on a moonbeam, and in its place stood a horrible phantom, draped and hooded. You are the spirit of Christmas yet to come. But although Scrooge spoke to the phantom, the spirit answered not. No, his replies were only eerie sounds in the night, and he pointed into the blackness with a bony finger. You are about to show me shadows of the things that have not happened, but will happen in the time before us. I fear you more than any spectre I have seen. The night is waning fast, and it is precious time to me, I know. Lead on. Scrooge followed the directions of the phantom's pointing finger, and a strange scene unfolded before his eyes. He found himself in a graveyard, walled in by houses, overrun by grass and weeds, the growth of vegetation's death, not life, choked up with too much burying. The spirit pointed to a stone and to the name etched upon it. And Scrooge walked forward and read the inscription. E-B-E-N... No. I'm not the man I was. I will not be the man I would have been, but for what I have learned. One chance, Spirit, one chance, I beg of you, that I may henceforth honor Christmas in my heart and try to keep it all here. I will live in the past, the present, and the future. The spirits of all three shall strive within me. I will not shut out the lessons that they teach. Oh, one chance. Dear Spirit, I beg of you, one chance. Scrooge put out his hand toward the draped and hooded figure and felt the bedpost in his room. He was in his bed. The sun was shining. It was morning. He dashed out of bed and ran to the window, throwing it open, and called to a boy in the street. Hi, you! You there?
Me, sir?
Yes, you. Hi, what day's today?
Today, sir?
Yeah.
Why, it's Christmas Day, sir.
Oh.
Merry Christmas.
Oh. Then Scrooge realized that the spirits had all come on the same night. Perhaps he dreamed them. No, but he didn't care to take a chance, no. No, this was Christmas Day, and there was time to keep his promise. He would honor Christmas in his heart and try to keep it all the year. He dressed in all haste, started on his way. He sang with the carolers, wished everybody Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, gave coins to the poor, bought food for the hungry. He sent a turkey to Bob Cratchit's, which was larger than Tiny Tim himself. Yeah, he bought out stores of everything good to eat and presented himself at his nephew's house to celebrate a Christmas dinner. And Scrooge's good deeds did not stop at the end of Christmas Day. No, he gave Bob Cratchit a raise in salary and took the welfare of Tiny Tim into his own hands. Through his efforts, the little crippled boy did not die. No, he lived to be as well as you and I. He, Scrooge, became as good a friend, as good an employer as had ever been seen in any city or town in this good old world. Some people laughed to see the alteration in him, but he little heeded them, for he was wise enough to know that nothing ever happened on this globe for good, at which some people didn't have their fill of laughter. No, and it was always said of him that he knew how to keep Christmas well, if any man alive possessed that knowledge. May that be truly said of all of us. And so, as Tiny Tim observed,
God bless us, everyone.
And a Merry Christmas to you all.
And so the curtain comes down on the final act of Dickens' A Christmas Carol. This week's Stars Over Hollywood show presented by Carnation Evaporated Milk and starring Edmund Gwenn. In just a moment, we'll have news about next week's show. Meantime, how about a curtain call, Mr. Gwenn?
Oh, thank you, Art. You know, I've played the part of Scrooge many times, but never played in more pleasant Dickensian company than today's.
Well, we're very happy to hear that, Mr. Gwenn, and for our part, let me say that you've added another triumphant performance to your already long list of successes.
Oh.
How many motion pictures have you appeared in, incidentally?
Oh, about 50 in all, Art. Over 20 in Europe and about 30 in America.
Not to mention the tremendous number of stage plays to your credit, too. Mr. Gwenn, I have no doubt the warming influence of Tiny Tim has taken all the chill out of Scrooge's nature. But just in case, let me offer you this cup of hot coffee, which I believe you'll enjoy all the more for the fact that it's creamed with carnation.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
I mention carnation, Mr. Gwenn, because it's such an important factor in making good coffee taste better than ever.
Yes, and I might add that it's very good in tea.
Right you are, Mr. Gwenn, right. And folks, it's all because carnation milk is more than double rich. It has the consistency of cream, and like cream, carnation is heavy enough to whip. Yet carnation costs less than half as much as cream. That's why millions of coffee lovers, yes, and tea lovers, actually like carnation better than cream. So why not take a tip? Cream your coffee with carnation, too.
Yes.
And now, Mr. Gwenn, to show our great appreciation for your excellent performance today, we have this beautiful bouquet for your home.
Oh.
Red and white carnations, just like those pictured on every can of carnation evaporated milk.
Oh, that's more than nice of you. Thank you so much. And may I ask what's in store for Stars Over Hollywood listeners next week?
We think we have a most unusual show, Mr. Gwenn. Harry Von Zell will appear as both the star and the author of a play called The Suckers.
Harry? You mean he wrote the story in which he stars?
That's right, Mr. Gwenn.
Oh, I shall certainly want to hear next week's show. But now, goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, Edmund Gwenn, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
Our broadcast of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol was adapted by Ralph Rose. Supporting Mr. Gwenn were Betty Harford, Ben Wright, Alec Harford, Eric Snowden, Jay Novello, Raymond Lawrence, Charlie Lung, Tudor Owen, and Diane Abbott. Special music was composed and conducted by Rex Corey. The program was transcribed and directed by Hans Conried. Ladies, when you shop for groceries today, be sure to have Carnation, the world's favorite brand of evaporated milk, on your shopping list. No other kind of milk has as many uses as Carnation.
Carnation for cooking.
Carnation for coffee.
Carnation for baby feeding.
Good, good, good. For milk that's extra good, you should get the brand that's called Carnation. Rich, rich, rich. For milk that's creamy rich, you should get the brand that's called Carnation.
And now for the Carnation Company and Stars Over Hollywood, this is Art Ballinger suggesting that you be sure to listen next Saturday for The Suckers, starring Harry Von Zell. Sunday evening, listen to the Carnation Contented Hour, starring Tony Martin with Joe Stafford over this same network. Stay tuned now for Grand Central Station, which follows immediately over most of these stations. Stars Over Hollywood comes to you from our Hollywood studios and is heard in Canada over the Dominion Network of the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation.
There you have it. Stars Over Hollywood, 72 years ago, December 22nd, 1951, on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. We're going to go back 70 years in a moment for two programs from December 22nd, 1953. The first will be the one that actually ran second to this other show, because Rocky Fortune ran ahead of Dragnet. But I'm going to play this Dragnet episode first, The Big Little Jesus. That's up next.
Hello there, this is Jim Amici. You know, a single tree can make 1,000,000 matches, but it takes only a single match to destroy 1,000,000 trees. So be careful with matches. Make sure your match or cook fire is dead out every time. Remember, only you can prevent forest fires.
And now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, an episode of Dragnet starring Jack Webb. This episode from 70 years ago today, December 22nd, 1953, The Big Little Jesus.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true.
Dragnet is brought to you by Chesterfield, made by Liggett & Myers. First major tobacco company to give you a complete line of quality cigarettes.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to burglary division. You get a call that an important piece of religious art has been stolen from the oldest church in Los Angeles. There's no lead to its whereabouts. Your job? Find it. To sell a product, you have to make it good and keep it good. What do the latest reports show about Chesterfield? Well, our research laboratory has compared it with the leading cigarettes in the country. Chesterfield is highest in quality, low in nicotine. Another good reason why thousands of people are changing to Chesterfield every day. Smoke America's most popular two-way cigarette, regular or king size. You'll find Chesterfield really mild, really satisfying. best for you.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Wednesday, December 24th. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of Burglary Division. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Bernard. My name's Friday. I'd gone across the street to buy stamps for some Christmas cards I was sending out. It was 9:15 a.m. when I got back to room 45. Burglary. I sat down at a table in the squad room and I started to address the cards when Frank walked in carrying a stack of Christmas boxes.
Hi, Joe.
Hi.
Christmas cards, huh? A little late, aren't you?
Well, I was going to send them out Monday, but we had that stakeout.
You ought to get married, Joe.
Yeah?
It's the only system. Faye does all that stuff for me. Laundry, mails, cards. Only system.
Might help.
You got a big stack there.
Ought to cut down the list. Look at this here. Upholstery shop.
Yeah.
They send me a card every year. I never get anything upholstered.
Faye and I ought to go over our list. Cut off a few names. I brought in your present. Want to open it now?
No, I'll wait.
I always open a couple a day before.
Why?
Well, put you in the spirit ahead of time. I opened Phil's this morning.
Who's he?
Faye's brother in Denver. Gave me a magazine, one of those funny ones.
What do you mean, a comic book?
No, one of those funny ones, you know.
No, I don't, Frank.
Well, some of the pages have holes in them. You look through and there's a picture on the next page.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those on the newsstand.
They have cloth pasted in.
Cloth?
In the ads. If you want to buy a suit, they have a sample right there.
You mean you can feel it?
Reach right out and feel it. There was one for $200.
A suit?
Sure. Cloth comes from Scotland.
What's it made out of? Solid gold?
No, they got a special kind of goat over there. It's real smooth.
Not a goat, Frank. A sheep.
Well, it's a special kind of sheep, then, because a suit costs $200.
You gonna get one?
I told Faye. She said, wear the sample. Anything doing?
Fanning and Pryor were in on that market holdup.
They come up with anything?
Pound of air, nothing else.
I hope it stays quiet. I got more shopping to do.
I finished.
What'd you get Ann?
Stationery set, some paper and envelopes, leather binding.
Joe, you'll never learn.
Well, what's the matter?
No woman wants a stationery set. Get her something personal.
Well, it's got her initials on it.
No. You want something more sentimental, romantic.
What'd you get Faye?
It's different in her case.
What'd you get Faye?
Sewing machine.
That's romantic.
Well, it isn't a way.
Why didn't you buy her a catcher's mitt? Burglary Friday. Yes, that's right. You have the right department. All right, Father, we'll be right down. No, you can tell us about it there. Goodbye. The old mission church, they've had a theft.
Collection money?
Statue of the child Jesus. Frank and I checked out of the office and rode over to the church at the corner of Sunset Boulevard and Main. The Old Mission Plaza Church, founded 1781, the year Los Angeles became a pueblo. The outside was typical early Spanish design, complete with mission arches. It was made of adobe and painted white. They called it the Queen of the Angels. The Padres from down in Mexico built it. The devout Mexicans in town still attended services there. 10:05 a.m. Frank and I crossed through the courtyard. It used to be the old stable, but the Spanish priest changed all that when it became a mission. Stonemasons paved the stable floor and made it a courtyard. They planted grapevines, trees, and flowers. A young priest crossed the courtyard to meet us. He'd been sitting on a stone bench reading his morning prayers, as priests had done here for 172 years. We asked for Father Xavier Rojas, who'd communicated with us. We were told he was inside. We entered a side door. The church seemed to glow with the hundreds of votive candles flickering on both sides of the altar and at the shrines throughout the church. It was empty except for a few people praying. Surrounding the main altar were several old oil paintings in gold frames. The air was heavy with the scent of Advent flowers. We found Father Rojas up near the sanctuary, looking at the nativity scene. He told us about the crib. It was a $70 duplication of the scene at Bethlehem. The parishioners had taken up a collection for it 31 years ago. It was put up every year on December 22nd and taken down after the holy season. It was beautiful, except that one of the shepherds had lost an arm, the sheep was old and cracked, and the infant Jesus was missing. Father Rojas led us back into the sacristy.
I'm sorry to bother you, men.
It's all right, Father.
Especially now, the holiday season.
We cash our checks, Father. You want to tell us what happened? Or what you think happened?
I discovered the statue was missing right after the 6 o'clock Mass.
You say the 6?
Yes. I started over to the rectory and stopped by the crib.
Was the statue there before Mass?
I don't know, but it was there last night.
How late is the church open?
All night.
You leave it wide open so any thief can walk in?
Particularly thieves, Sergeant.
You say it was there last night, Father. How late?
10 or 11 o'clock. We had confessions.
No one saw it after that?
One of the altar boys. He says it may have been there. He thinks it was.
Did he see it?
He's not sure.
What's his name?
Pardon me. Here's the schedule. You'll find the names for every Mass there.
Was there a big crowd at the 6 o'clock Mass, Father?
Not too many. 7's the big one. People on their way to work.
Did anyone stay after Mass, did you notice?
Not especially. I came back here, took off the vestments. I suppose it was 10 or 15 minutes before I went back in the church.
It was empty then?
No, people were coming in for the 7 o'clock.
Are these the altar boys, James Cornine and Joseph Heffernan?
That's right. Joe's the one who mentioned it might have been there.
Did you check with the other priests, Father?
Before I called you. None of them knows anything about it.
Just for a check on the pawn shops, how much is the statue worth?
In money?
Well, that's the point in pawn shops, Father.
Only a few dollars. We could get a new one, but it wouldn't be the same. We've had children in the parish. They've grown up and married. It's the only Jesus they know.
We understand.
And we've had children who died. It was the only Jesus they knew. So many of the people who come here are simple people. They wouldn't understand, Sergeant. It would be like changing the evening star.
We'll do our best, Father.
That's why it would mean so much to have it back for the first Mass on Christmas.
It's not very long, Father. Less than 24 hours. If anything turns up here, you know where to get in touch with us.
Yes. It's sad, isn't it?
How's that?
In so short a time, men learn to steal.
Yes, but consider us, Father.
Us?
If some of them didn't, you and I'd be out of work. 10:50 a.m. We notified pawn shop detail. Frank and I checked out the 2 altar boys. The first one, James Cornine, said he knew nothing about the missing statue. The second one, Joseph Heffernan, was not at home. His father said he had a part-time job, but he'd have him get in touch with us right after lunch. By 11:30 a.m., we'd run out of book procedure. We had a man to find. Our only clue, he'd been to church. 11:33 a.m. We checked the phone books for the names of religious stores in the area. 2 of them were closed. We tried the 3rd. When we got there, the only person in the store was an elderly man sitting by a table. In front of him was a large, beautifully carved chess set. We're police officers. My name's Friday. This is my partner, Frank Smith.
Pleased to see you. Caught me in the middle of a big chess match.
Where's your partner?
Up in San Jose. We've been playing for years.
Same match?
No, just 2 or 3 months on this one. What I meant was we've been playing different matches for years.
I see.
You know, we do it through the mail. I send him a move, he sends me one.
Must keep you on your toes.
Except during the holidays, the mail gets all fiddled up. That's no good.
Guess not.
Slows things down. That's no good. I like to catch him off guard.
You Mr. Flavin?
How do you know? We never met.
Your name's on the window out front.
Mr. Flavin, we checked the other 2 religious stores in this neighborhood. They're closed.
This is the best one anyway. 50% European items.
We're checking the stores around the Mission Church.
For what?
Statue of the Child Jesus. Do you have one we could look at?
Sure.
No, sir, a larger one.
You don't want a larger one, unless it's for a church. That's where you want a larger one.
Could we see it, please?
It's not my due to butt in. But unless you live in a big place, this'll make your living room all the kilder.
Yes, sir. Do most of the people who go to the Mission Church trade here?
Good many of them, especially the kids.
Why kids?
More religious. Check on yourself. See if kids aren't more religious than you.
Might be so.
That's what's wrong with the world. Oh, I don't mean you're wrong with it. Everybody.
Yes, sir. Wonder if we could stick to the point, Mr. Flavin.
Sure. A lot of people from the Mission Church come in here.
Do people ever come in and sell back a religious article?
Like a prayer book or rosaries?
Yes, sir.
Second hand, you mean?
Yes, sir.
Not since I've ever been around. It's silly.
Why?
People don't have religious articles so they can get rid of them. They have them so they can have them.
But if a man had a statue and wanted to sell it, he'd come to a place like this.
Sure, but he wouldn't want to sell it.
He would if it was stolen.
No, sir. If a man was to steal a statue, he'd be crazy or something like that. The only place he'd want to go is where crazy people are.
You may be right, Mr. Flavin.
I don't know what you fellas are looking for, but if it's somebody who stole a statue, he's crazy and you won't find him.
You won't find him as long as you live, or in 1,000,000 years.
That should cover it.
We checked religious stores out as far as Van Ness. We asked the same questions. The owners gave us the same answers, but none of them were as encouraging as Mr. Flavin. Frank and I had lunch and reported back to the office. It was 1:30 p.m. when we started into the squad room. The captain was just coming out.
I just checked for you in the lunchroom.
And we've been down on that theft at the mission.
May get some action on the Patterson case.
They locate him?
I think he's on the bus from Sacramento.
Well, that means the Bakersfield police.
We'll wait and see.
Are one of you fellas Sergeant Friday?
He is.
I'm Joe Heffernan. My father said you wanted to see me.
Sit down, son. You didn't have to come in. A phone call would have worked.
My father said to get on over. He says that any kid that uses phones is lazy.
We want to ask you about this morning. You serve 6 o'clock Mass?
Yes, sir. I'm senior boy, so I get the 6th.
You're a senior and you take the early trick?
Yes, sir. That way, if you receive communion, you get to have breakfast sooner.
Father Rojas says you think the statue was there before Mass.
I didn't look, but I have a feeling it was there.
A feeling?
You know, how you have a feeling about something, but you're not sure.
Did you stay around long after Mass?
I put out the candles and hung up my surplice.
How long would that take?
About 5 minutes, maybe.
Did any of the people at Mass stay on?
Some of 'em always do, especially ladies.
Oh?
Maybe they don't finish in time, or else they start new prayers. I don't know.
So when you left, there were still some women there?
No, sir. That was at first. After I went back to the sacristy, there was only this one man.
What man?
He comes at 6 o'clock all the time.
Do you know his name?
No, sir. But he works down in Olive, paint shop, where they paint signs.
Could you describe him?
Sort of medium. He was wearing a suit that didn't match.
Didn't match?
Different pants than coat.
How about his age?
Oh, he's pretty old.
Take a guess.
About 40, maybe. There's nothing particular about him.
Then why'd you notice him?
I've seen him before. And the bundle, I guess.
The bundle?
Out in front. I saw him when he was coming out. He had this bundle, and he almost dropped it.
How large a bundle?
It's hard to say.
Come on, son. Was it large or small? The size of the statue?
About that big. Yes, sir.
We located the sign shop. The suspect didn't work there anymore, but we discovered his name was Claude Stroop. We found out where he lived. 2:25 p.m. We arrived there. It was a hotel for men, mostly old men, mostly down and outers. It was called the Golden Dream.
Police officers. We're looking for Claude Stroop.
Hope Claude didn't get in any trouble.
So do we. Is he in?
No. He's got room 307. You can check if you like.
We'll take your word.
Were you on this morning?
Yeah, the early shift.
Well, we don't have shifts. My uncle owns the place. I'm the shift.
Did Stroop spend last night here?
Came in about 11.
When did he leave this morning?
Around 6, maybe before.
Did he come back after?
8 o'clock or so. Then left. Supposed to be back at 10. And pulls this trick.
What trick?
Our program. He knows the other fellas need him.
Program?
You're here at the hotel. Every Christmas we have a program. Put up a tree and sing. They're mostly old fellas. Singing like that makes them remember back when they were kids. Then Jimmy Finn comes on.
Jimmy Finn?
He shares number 409. His family once had a lot of money, so he tells the fellas about it. Stories about Christmas. How they had this big log, and his grandfather used to start it up. And after dinner, everybody turned over his plate, and there underneath was a $20 gold piece. Brand new one.
When Stroop came in this morning, did he have a bundle?
I didn't see him come in.
You said you saw him.
I saw him go out after, but not come in.
When was that?
8. If you want to look for a bundle, I could give you his key.
We don't have a warrant.
Oh, it's all right. I know about police. It's all right with me.
It's not with us.
I didn't mean that. I just meant it was all right with me.
Good King Wenceslas looked out on the feast of Stephen.
They were 3 old men. We couldn't tell how much better they would have been with Stroop singing the 4th part, but somehow you didn't care. This was Christmas at the Golden Dream, and it sounded fine.
That night, though the frost was cruel, when the poor man came in sight, gathering winter fuel.
This is the last rehearsal. They got most of the songs down pat.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, that's why it's a shame Claude isn't here. He's tenor, and they need him to make it sound just right.
Does Stroop have a job?
No, sir. He used to have jobs. Not much lately, though.
You see where he was going?
No, he should have. The fellas need him.
When he comes in, will you call us?
Sure, and not say anything to him.
That's right.
I hope it's nothing serious for Claude. Fella's troubles ought to be over.
Troubles?
Way back. It wouldn't count now.
Tell us anyway.
Well, I don't know much about it.
As much as you know. Now, come on.
It was something back where he used to live. He robbed somebody or something.
What else?
That's all. It was a long time ago, way far back. But he forgot it all, the robbing and everything.
No, not quite. He remembered it this morning.
God rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. For Jesus Christ our Savior was born upon this day to save
We went back to the office and ran Stroop's name through R&I. If he'd been booked anywhere, we had no record of it, at least not under that name. 4:15 p.m. Pawn shop detail reported back. No object resembling the statue of the child Jesus had been turned in. 4:18 p.m. I hung up the phone.
Patterson's on that Sacramento bus. I thought Bakersfield had it. They were supposed to confirm. They did. Upward station.
What about Fanning and Pryor?
They're still out.
Well, they'll be back soon. When's the bus arrive?
6 o'clock.
There's plenty of time for them to make it.
There's more time for you. We're still on that theft. Can it wait?
No.
What is it? $10, $15 statue?
When's the price determine a case?
I realize it's a church statue, but that doesn't give it priority.
It's important to them, Captain. Joe and I promised to get it back.
What do you got on it?
Nothing much.
And why are you so big-hearted?
Burglary Friday. When? No. Don't say anything. No. Right. It's Claude Stroop. He just walked into the hotel. He's our suspect.
Nobody's leaked to him?
No.
You'll keep. You can run him down tomorrow.
It'll be too late then.
They need it for the first mass in the morning, Skipper. It's kind of a big thing for them.
I'm sorry. I can't juggle details around so you can get a statue back. If there's time later on, we'll do our best.
Yes, sir.
You better get over to the station.
Yes, sir. Will you call Father Rojas over at the mission?
Why?
Tell him we're too busy to work on that statue.
But we'll do it later. Tomorrow or when we get a chance.
Why can't you call him?
Well, we better get over to the station.
If Patterson's on that bus, we don't want to miss him.
All right, I'll call him.
Friday.
Yeah.
I can send Fanning and Pryor over. You might as well stay on that other thing.
Whatever you say, Captain.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
There are good reasons why thousands of people are changing to Chesterfield every day. Why Chesterfield is the largest selling two-way cigarette in America. Why Chesterfield is best for me and best for you. People these days want facts. When you want people to use your product, you have to tell them what effect it has on people who do use it regularly. That's why a doctor has examined for almost 2 years a large group of Chesterfield smokers. 45% of them have, on the average, been smoking Chesterfields for well over 10 years. What is the effect on these people from smoking Chesterfield? No adverse effects to the nose, throat, and sinuses, says the doctor. Consider Chesterfield's record with these smokers, with millions of other smokers throughout America. Another good reason for you to change to Chesterfield. Regular or king size, Chesterfield is best for me, best for you.
4:43 p.m. We arrived at the Golden Dream Hotel. The desk clerk was right. Claude Stroop looked like a man who'd had his troubles at bargain rates. Your name Claude Stroop?
Yes, sir.
Police officers. We'd like to talk to you.
I didn't do anything against the law. Honest, I didn't do anything against it.
You haven't been accused.
Want to take you downtown?
We'd like to talk to you.
No, sir, I'm not going. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to talk to anybody.
You're half wrong already. "5:15 p.m. We returned Stroop for interrogation. He kept his word. He refused to talk. 6:05 p.m. Frank called Fay, told her he'd be a little late. Stroop didn't move for a whole hour. He sat and stared, but he didn't talk. 6:40 p.m. We got a final report from pawn shop detail. The shops were closed. There was no statue. Stroop still hadn't talked.
Don't you ever want to go home, Stroop?
If I was to talk, he wouldn't let me go.
Depends on what you'd say.
I'd say it wrong, and I wouldn't get home.
You won't this way either.
I'd like to go. You can bet on that. This is the 7th year we had the program, and I never missed a one. Not a single one.
Why don't you tell us what happened, Stroop?
How would I know you'd let me go?
You wouldn't.
I might as well anyway.
All right, what happened from Mass on?
Well, there was Mass. I came out and started down toward the hotel.
Back up.
I left my stuff at the hotel, and then I picked up George's car. I didn't steal it. He said I could have it any time I wanted. Only this time I didn't ask him. I took it and started out.
Yeah.
I should have asked, but I just didn't. I went over to Grand Avenue for the Christmas bulbs, for this fella sells them secondhand. It was coming out of the lot that I did it.
Yeah.
The bumper must have caught the other car. Didn't leave too big a dent, but there was this long scratch. I got out and tried to wipe it off with my handkerchief. You know, spit on it like. Only didn't do no good. I didn't think anybody saw. I don't know how you fellas found out about it.
I'll check auto records.
Right. Stroop, we didn't bring you down here to talk about that.
You didn't?
No. There's a statue missing from the church. A statue of the child Jesus.
You mean I took it?
You took a bundle out of church?
Yes, sir. That was my other pants for the program tonight. I had a place sewed up and there was a button on it. You can check. But I wouldn't take a statue.
I don't think you would either.
He's cleared auto records.
Go on home.
For the program? You mean it's all right?
Good night, Stroop.
Good night.
Merry Christmas.
Where to? Well, I don't know. We could stay and work on it tonight.
Wouldn't do any good. We won't find it.
I don't think so.
No use kidding the priest. Build his hopes up.
Might as well go tell him now. Merry Christmas. "7:27 p.m. We found Father Rojas. Frank told him how it was, that we couldn't get the statue back by morning, but that we'd keep trying during the week. He said he understood. We told him we had to get on. As Frank and I started to leave, the doors at the main entrance to the church opened. It was a good 200 feet away. It was hard to be sure, but it looked like a small boy drawing a bright red wagon behind him. When he got closer, you could see he was no bigger than a pint of milk. He was a luminous-eyed little Mexican boy with a face as young as yesterday. The priest seemed to know him.
Paquito?
In the back of the wagon was the missing statue of the child Jesus. He picked it up gently and walked up to the priest.
Padre Rojas?
He just stood there, looking up at Father Rojas.
It's Paco Mendoza, the boy from the parish.
Ask him where he found it.
¿Dónde lo encontraste?
No lo encontré, lo cogí esta mañana.
He didn't find it, he took it.
Why?
¿Por qué?
Todos los años Paquito rezó por un camioncito rojo. Este año Paquito rezó al niño Jesús. Yo prometí al niño Jesús el primer viaje en mi camioncito.
He says all through the years he's prayed for a red wagon. This year he prayed to the child Jesus. He promised that if he got the wagon, the child Jesus would have the first ride in it.
¿Vendrá el diablo para llevar a Paquito?
He wants to know if the devil will come and take him to hell.
That's your department, Father.
No el diablo. Jesús ama a Paquito mucho.
We crossed over to the sanctuary. With the help of Father Rojas, the young boy replaced the infant Jesus in its rightful place, the crib in the nativity scene. Frank and I could have been wrong, but the small plaster statue seemed to approve. Mary, Joseph, the wise men, Gaspar, Melchior, Balthazar, the old shepherd, the young shepherd, the peasant. They all seemed to approve.
Vuelve a tu casa, Paquito.
The priest told the boy to go home. He took hold of his wagon, started the long walk out of the church. There wasn't much we could say. There wasn't much to say. We just stood there and watched him go. Halfway up, he turned to look back, and he went on out.
I don't understand how we got that wagon today. Don't kids wait for Santa Claus anymore?
It isn't from Santa Claus. The firemen fix old toys and give them to new children. Paquito's family, they're poor.
Are they, Father?
The story you have just heard is true. The names and locations were changed. Ladies and gentlemen, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. Friends, remember your cigarette dealer will be open right up to Christmas Eve, and he can take care of your last-minute shopping problems with Chesterfields. Chesterfields and the special Christmas carton featuring the covered bridge. And now, on behalf of the makers of Chesterfield, Liggett & Myers Tobacco Company, there are over 6,000 wholesale distributors and 1,300,000 retail dealers, and of course all of us on Dragnet. We'd like to wish you a very Merry Christmas.
What a sweet episode of Dragnet. We can't say that about many of their shows. 70 years ago, December 22nd, 1953. Up next on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the show ran immediately before Dragnet, Frank Sinatra as Rocky Fortune, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. But first...
Friends, this is Jim Amici. About 40,000 lives a year needlessly lost. The circumstances were traffic accidents, but, says the National Safety Council, the causes were human. Human failure to pay attention to the road and weather conditions, to slow down when needed, or even to care whether you arrive safely. Make safe driving your responsibility.
Tomorrow on the podcast, we'll have an episode of the CBS Radio Workshop, Red Rider, Seal Test Variety Theater, also Tales of the Texas Rangers, and an episode of Lum and Abner. And then coming up the day following that, we're going to have more fun with Jimmy Durante, Broadway is My Beat, Christmas Eve at the Front, and Lum and Abner's traditional Christmas story. That'll be coming up on... the show after. That'll be our Christmas Eve show. Right now, let us get to Frank Sinatra as Rocky Fortune. This episode, entitled The Plot to Murder Santa Claus, originally broadcast December 22nd, 1953.
Now, Frank Sinatra, transcribed as Rocky Fortune. NBC presents Frank Sinatra, starring as that footloose and fancy-free young gentleman, Rocky Fortune.
Did I ever tell you about the time I got mixed up in a plot to murder Santa Claus? Yeah. It all started when I answered a Christmas ad for a department store. The ad said, young man of good character as auxiliary store detective and other duties, 2-week employment. So, next day I am an auxiliary shamus for Quackenbaum's department store. Kind of a high-class Fifth Avenue dispensary where for only $50 you can buy your girl a mink toothbrush. And for an extra $5,000 you can get her a coat to match.
This way, Mr.
Fortune, Rocky Fortune, Mr. Prim.
Yes. This is 5th floor, children's toys. Note, please, Santa's workshop and the enchanted igloo. This will be your post.
What do I do?
Just keep an eye on the merchandise. Quackenbaum's has had a good deal of shoplifting recently.
Yeah, especially in the jewelry department, eh?
We don't like to talk about that, Mr. Fortune.
Mister, it's been on the front page of all the newspapers for a week. $8,000 worth of pearls.
Wow. The thief will be apprehended in good time, have no fear. Well, I must get back to my office.
Just a minute, Mr. Prim.
Yes?
What happens if I see a gunner?
A what?
A lifter, a thief.
Apprehend the criminal with the merchandise and bring both to my office behind the elevators. The name Lysander Prim is on the door.
Check.
Oh, and one other thing.
Yeah?
At lunch hour, you will relieve Santa Claus.
You mean put on a beard and everything?
Oh, it's just for half an hour. As a matter of fact, you start in exactly 5 minutes.
I'm not exactly built for this.
Neither is our present Santa. They're running thin this year. Just ask Big Elf to help stuff you.
Big Elf?
Santa's helper. The large fellow in the elf suit.
Oh, sure.
Good luck, Mr. Fortune. The honor of Quackenbaum's is in your hands.
At $44.50 a week, Mr. Quackenbaum is getting a bargain. Big Elf, whose name is Marty, weighs about 250. He helps me into Santa's suit, and I take over inside the magic igloo while Santa goes out for some chowder. I embarrass a couple of mothers by promising everything the kids ask for, and I'm really living it up, having the time of my life when a little girl about 6 comes in all by herself. She's a pretty little thing, too, with blue eyes and freckles. On one leg is a light steel brace. Jingle bells, jingle all, and that's what I want for Christmas. Well, hello, honey. You here all alone?
Yes, sir.
Well, what can I do for you?
I have a note for you.
A letter for old Santa, huh? Ho, let's have a look. Dear Santa, you know what we want for Christmas. We better get it or you'll never live to make those Christmas Eve deliveries. Signed, you know who. Well, did you write this letter yourself, honey?
No, sir. A man gave it to me.
What did he look like?
A big man with a black mustache. He gave me a nickel, too.
Heavy spender, huh? Honey, what's your name?
Gail. Gail Grayson.
And what would you like Santa to bring you for Christmas, Gail?
I'd like your elf.
You mean Big Bonehead out there?
Oh, no. Not the man in the elf suit. I mean the elf doll. The one with the red silk suit and the green hat.
Oh, well, that's pretty expensive, honey. Maybe your mommy and daddy can't afford it.
I don't have any mommy and daddy.
Oh. Well, you leave your name and address with Santa, and I'll see if we can't arrange for something. It might not be that same doll, but...
That's the one I want.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, look, Gail.
Gail?
Oh, Gail, there you are. I told you to wait outside the man's office.
I wanted to talk to Santa about getting that elf doll.
Honey, I told you that doll cost too much.
Santa says maybe he can arrange something.
Santa's wrong. Look, mister, I just been seeing a man about trying to get a job in this place so we can afford to eat. I don't have money for expensive dolls.
Well, I'm sorry, miss.
Well, you've no business building up false hopes in children. They put so much faith in this.
Well, if you just let me explain...
Come around and explain Christmas Eve if you can.
Well, I'd like to, but I don't even know your name.
This is my sister Laura, and we live at 65 Bleakman Street, 5 flights up, Santa.
Gail, for heaven's sakes. Come along.
You won't forget the doll, will you, Santa? Please don't forget, please.
Lose a customer, Jack?
I'm afraid I lost a friend, too.
Cheer up. Maybe you won't live long, then you won't need a friend.
Why don't you just stick to being a big elf, huh, Marty? Don't be a wise guy, Fortune. Me? I'm never a smart aleck. By the way, how do they spell elf? O-A-F? After lunch, the real make-believe Santa Claus comes back, and I turn over the suit, beard, and stuffing. I'm glad to get back to being a store detective. That big elf is no pleasure to work with. I keep thinking of little Gail. Well, let's face it, I keep thinking of her big sister, who's got eyes like Dresden china and a figure like a Lamarge teapot. I wonder if I'm ever going to see her again. I don't have to wonder long, because right away things begin to happen.
Help! Stop these! Catch her! Catch her!
All right, hold it.
Oh, let me go.
Take it easy. Well, Laura Grayson.
Who are you?
Santa Claus, remember? My name is Rocky Fortune. I'm also the store dick in this
Oh,
department.
Mr. Fortune, please. I don't know why I took it.
Well, let's see what we've got here.
It's the elf doll, the one Gail wanted.
Oh, baby, if you're going to shoplift a doll, they got better ways worked out than just pick it up and run with it.
I had to take it. I couldn't disappoint her. I couldn't.
Yeah, I guess it was partly my fault.
Well, I suppose you'll turn me over to the police now.
Well, hold it. Lady, this ain't for general publication, but between you and me, I'm the world's worst toy store detective. Too much larceny in my blood. So I'll just turn around for 20 or 30 minutes, and if you're not gone when I turn back, I'm going to put the pinch on you.
You're letting me go?
Please, let's not be vulgar.
Well, thank you, Rocky.
Hey,
What?
you forgot the doll.
But...
I was going to buy it for her anyway. Besides, I get it for only $3 because it's a display model. Now beat it.
Oh, Rocky, I could kiss you.
Go ahead.
I will. Merry Christmas.
And a Happy New Year to you. Wow. The kid slips down the stairway with the elf doll, and I am still wearing a lipstick on my cheek when Mr. Prim boils over. He looks so much like a clothing store dummy, you expect to find a price tag on him. Right behind him is Marty, the big elf.
Mr. Fortune.
Oh, hi.
Where is she?
Where is who? Whom? He.
The dame who stole the doll from Santa's workshop.
Oh, you are a little elf, aren't you?
Mr. Marty here tells me he saw you catch her. Where is she?
Overpowered me. She must be a lady wrestler or something.
Mr. Fortune.
Tell you what, though, Mr. Prim, just to make everything okay, I'll pay for the doll.
What?
No kidding. You see, I know the young lady, and I was going to buy it for her anyway, so I...
Well, this is highly irregular.
Oh, come on, Mr. Prim. Think of how proud Mr. Quackenbaum will be when you tell him you unloaded that shop-worn display model, huh?
Well, it's highly irregular, but go ahead. The sales clerk will make out the proper form.
Well, thanks, Mr. Prim. I'll do that.
Hey, Fortune.
Yeah.
What was the dame's name?
What's it to you?
Just curious, you know.
I know. Stay just as you are. After closing time, I go into the employee's dressing room for a quick wash-up and a change of linen. Place empties out when my pal, the store Santa, flops in after a hard day at the igloo. He takes off his red suit, and I see he's built like a Japanese wrestler with a nose like Rudolph the reindeer, only it ain't from drinking melted snow.
Well, good night, everybody.
Good night, Herm. Looks as if the detectives and the Santa Clauses are the late workers in this department, huh?
Yeah, just you and me now.
Just you, Santa. I'm blowing right now.
Just a minute.
Yeah?
That girl who stole the elf doll.
What about her?
Mr. Prim mentioned that you know her.
So?
I'd like to know her name.
You're the second guy in a half an hour. What is this?
Just what I said, Fortune. What's her name and where does she live?
Look, I know you've been making a list and checking it twice, Uncle, but just why do you want to know?
I had my eye on that elf doll myself for my kid. I'd like to get her for her.
They got brand new ones in stock.
I'm interested in that one. So the name, huh?
Sorry, Uncle.
Fortune. Maybe I don't make myself clear. I want that girl's name and address. I want it very bad.
You know you shouldn't use that tone of voice. It don't sound like you got the holiday spirit.
I'm going to use more than a tone of voice if you don't unclaim.
Sorry, Sam.
Okay, Fortune. Ooh.
Okay, boy. You want to fight?
I'll try. What's her name?
Why, you punk, I'll bust you.
Gentlemen, please, just what is going on here? Well?
Let Samson here tell you.
I was just showing Mr. Fortune here a couple of judo holds that might come in handy next time a young girl overpowers.
This is not a gymnasium, gentlemen. I'll thank you to leave and report back promptly tomorrow morning. Good evening.
I managed to stagger out of my own power and head back to my flat. I figure I'll have some supper and then locate Laura Grayson for another look at that elf doll that everybody wants to get his hands on. Also, for another look at Laura Grayson. Yeah. I stopped to line my flu at a local cafeteria and go up to the flat. I walk in like I live there, which I do, and discover I have guests.
Hello, Rocky.
Well, Sergeant Hamilton J. Finger. If I knew you were coming, I'd have baked a cake with poison in it.
A cake with a file in it would be more useful where you're going, Rocky, my old pal.
You are referring to the House of Detention?
The same.
Well, sir, if my days as a process server serve me correctly, they make mention of a thing titled due process, which means you don't arrest a guy without you can make some kind of charge, right?
Right.
So?
So we would like to revolve the wheel of our conversation around the axle of your understanding down at the Irish clubhouse.
Concerning?
Concerning a murder.
You said a murder?
Yeah.
Who?
Rocky, this is going to come as a shock to a naive young boy like yourself. But there ain't no Santa Claus.
How come?
How come? Because somebody stuck a knife in him. He's laying on his face over in Quackenbaum's department store. Let's go.
I spent the next few hours as a guest of the city, in the squad room, or sweatbox, as it is affectionately remembered by inmates of various steel academies in the state. And mine host is Sergeant Finger.
All right! Now for the last time. You had an argument with him, right?
He had one with me.
Okay, he socked you.
Yes.
You socked him.
Right.
You got interrupted.
Right.
You left.
Right.
Then you come back and stabbed him.
Wrong.
Okay. Let's have your story.
Somebody was after him, Sarge. I got a threatening note that was supposed to go to him.
Where is it?
Here.
This is kid stuff.
You ever hear of a kid threatening Santa Claus? Come on, Sarge.
Okay, so it ain't kid stuff. Who sent it and why?
That's what the taxpayers hire you to figure out. Maybe it's got some connection with that jewel robbery.
What do you know about the jewel robbery?
Just what I read in the papers. Somebody snatched $8,000 worth of pearls.
You, maybe?
Don't be ridiculous. I wasn't even working there when it happened.
What makes you think it was an inside job?
The newspapers. They got the opinion from the police. You familiar with this organization?
Don't get funny.
Did it ever occur to you that maybe Santa Claus was in on that jewel job?
As a matter of fact, Rocky, the guy in that Santa Claus suit has a record as long as your arm. Only one thing is wrong.
Yeah?
We can't arrest him for his own murder.
So why pin it on me?
You're available. Also, whoever stabbed him was in on the inside. It happened after the store closed. Also, there's $8,000 worth of pearls floating around someplace and a reward for 1,000 to whoever finds them.
No kidding.
Yeah, you want to claim it? All you have to do is confess you killed the guy, turn in the pearls, collect the reward.
And go to the chair. I'll tell you what, Sarge. You do me a favor and I'll confess to the murder. The jewel robbery and all of the other old crimes you're too stupid to solve.
What's the favor?
Drop dead.
Rocky, someday, pow! Right in the toy department.
Come on, Finger. You know as well as I do I couldn't have done it.
What makes you think so?
That note the lieutenant handed you a few minutes ago. You checked my alibi, and I was feeding my face in the cafeteria when he got stabbed. So stop giving me the needle and let me go home.
Fortune, someday.
I know. Pow! Can I go now?
Don't you like it here?
It's great, but I got a date with a doll. Finger turns me loose, and I jockey my way right down to Laura Grayson's apartment in the cheap village flat. It's about 9 p.m. when I get my finger on the doorbell.
Just a moment. Rocky.
Hi. Can I come in a minute?
Of course.
Where's Gail?
Sleep. I hope so, anyway.
Listen, honey, I have to ask you something.
Well?
Have you got the doll?
Of course. Gail's so happy about it, she's ready to fly.
Look, I'll have to ask you for it back.
You what?
Well, I'll get another one to replace it, a brand new one, really. But right now, I got to have that one.
Sure, Rocky. Sure.
It sounds kind of funny, and I can't explain it now, but you tell the kid I'll get her another one, huh?
It isn't necessary, Rocky. Wait a minute, I'll get it for you. Here.
Thanks. I have to get back to the store. I'll call you tomorrow, maybe for dinner, huh?
Uh-huh.
Good night, Laura.
Good night, Rocky.
I knew what she was thinking, so I didn't try to make any excuses. I just took the doll and headed back to my flat to take a look inside. It was as empty as an eggshell in a fox farm. I was just reaching for the phone when it rang. Hello?
Rocky?
Yeah.
This is Laura. Rocky, something terrible's happened.
What's wrong? What's the matter?
Well, just after you left, a man came, a big man with a black mustache, and he asked for the doll. Said he was from the department store police. I told him you'd taken it back to the store, and he left.
Well, what's so terrible?
Well, he must have awakened Gail, and she overheard it. Anyway, when I went into her room just now, she was gone. Rocky, I don't know what to do.
She heard you say I was taking a doll to the store?
Yes.
Maybe she's on her way over there now to try to get the doll back.
At this hour?
Honey, 6-year-old kids don't know from the wages and hours law. Look, I'll take a run over there just in case she shows up. You notify the police and meet me. I stuffed the kid's doll in my overcoat pocket and flagged a cab over to Quackenbaum's department store. There's no sign of the kid out front, so I leg it around to the delivery entrance. No sign. I decided to check inside and show my pass to the night watchman at the entrance.
Hold it, mister.
Hiya, Pop. I work here.
Let's see your card.
Here, right here.
Yeah, store dick, huh?
That's right, Pop. Now, listen, I'm looking for a little girl about 7 years old. Wears a brace on one foot. You seen her?
What would a kid like that be doing here after hours?
Her mother thinks she got lost in the store.
Oh. Well, I only been on a couple of minutes. I ain't seen her.
I'm going up to check the toy department on 5. You keep an eye out, will you? If she comes along, send her up to 5. I'll be waiting.
Okay. I'll keep watch, Fair.
Thanks. I go up to the toy department. In the darkness, it looks as eerie as a graveyard on Halloween. I figure maybe Gail managed to slip in past the watchman, so I give a yell. Gail! I'm going to scare myself to death. What's that?
Nobody here but us toys, boss. Get 'em up, Fortune.
I assume that ain't a lollipop stick in my spine.
That's right, smart boy. Step over here in the light.
To what do I owe the pleasure?
Just a little shopping trip. I'm looking for a doll.
You don't say.
I do. So hand it over.
Help yourself. It's in the coat pocket.
Toss it here.
There.
Now stand still while I have a look inside. Okay, wise guy, where's the stuff?
Stuff?
Don't play dumb. It was $8 grand worth of pearls from last week's job inside this doll. Where are they?
Search me, pal. Maybe you got the wrong doll.
I got the right doll, Buster.
What makes you so sure?
Santa Claus told me. Before he died.
Looks like you and Santa Claus were in on that robbery.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Until he tried to double-cross me.
What happened?
I heisted this stuff and gave it to Santa Claus to hide. He hid it so good I couldn't find it. He wasn't going to tell me where it was until I gave him more than half. Only I changed his mind for him.
Yeah, with a 4-inch blade.
Uh-huh. You should be a store detective. You're real smart.
I take it the stuff was in the doll.
That's right, Rocky. Only it ain't there now. And you had that doll.
Which means?
Unless you unclam, I may have to give you the same treatment I gave Santa Claus.
I'm telling you, the pearls were gone when I got that doll home.
And I'm telling you, if they were gone, it's because you took them.
I don't have them. Sue me.
Rocky, old man, it's Christmas time and goodwill to men and all that. And I hate to knock off 2 guys in the same day. But if you don't spill them pearls in 5 seconds, I'm going to put lead in your brain. Now, where are they?
I don't know.
1, 2, 3, 4. What the?
Gail, hide, honey.
Come back here, Fortune.
Here's a football for Christmas, boy. Oh! I let Big Elf have it in the puss with a football from the toy counter and grab the kid. We duck into the maze of counters and crawl along until we get behind some packing crates. Marty's cursing and looking for us. And he's still got a gun, too.
Rocky, I had to find you. I wanted to...
Shh. Don't let him hear us. Crawl into this packing case.
Rocky, I'm scared.
Do as I say.
Okay, Rocky.
Fortune! It's no use, Fortune. I'm going to find you, and when I do... Come on out, Fortune! Come on out!
So am I, kid. We gotta do something. But let's see what they got in these boxes. Mighty Mike mechanical police car. Oh, there's a big help. Hey!
What?
Let me have one of those.
Here. What are you going to do, Rocky?
You'll see.
I'm coming, Fortune.
Look out, Marty!
What's that?
That's 2 shots. He's got a revolver that holds 6. 4 to go. Let's see now.
Here's something, Rocky. Super rocket ship.
Fine. Let's try this on. Ready? Go.
Fortune, are you crazy? I'm going to get you.
3 and 2 or 5. One more. What's in that box?
There's an atomic blaster, junior space cadet size.
Why not? Let's try it.
I hear you, Fortune. I hear you now.
Try this, Frank.
You missed, Marty. That's pretty bad shooting.
Maybe, punk, but this ain't going to be. What the...
Those things got to be loaded before you can shoot them, Marty, remember?
You dirty...
Here's something else for Christmas.
My gift to Santa's helper was a Louisville slugger right on top of the noggin. And just as he went out, the lights went on. And suddenly the place is crawling with humanity.
Rocky. Gail, are you all right?
We're fine, baby. Well, look who's here, late as usual.
No wisecracks. Is this the missing kid lady?
Yes, officer. Thank you.
Who's the stiff?
This is the bum who killed Santa Claus.
Boy, you should have seen Rocky beat him with that bat.
By the way, Gail, where's the stuff that was inside the doll?
You mean the pretty marbles? I thought they came inside the doll, Rocky. It was a sort of surprise.
Some surprise. Do you have them?
I think so. In my pocket someplace. Oh, here they are.
Sergeant? Here you are, sir. Just in case you ain't got all your marbles.
Marbles? Hey, those are the pearls that were heisted last week.
He's got a magnificent mind, this Sergeant Finger, doesn't he?
Gail, I'm sorry about the doll, honey, but unless I'm mistaken, you got about $1,000 reward coming for this stuff.
$1,000? Rocky, it's too good to be true. I must be dreaming.
Want me to pinch you?
Couldn't you just kiss me instead?
Why not? Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
NBC has presented Frank Sinatra as that footloose and fancy-free young gentleman, Rocky Fortune. Others in tonight's cast included Ted Von Eltz, Mary McGovern, Kay Stewart, Frank Gerstle, Jim Nusser, Barney Phillips, Bill Justine. Tonight's script was written by George Lefferts. Andrew C. Love directed. And now, to tell you about next week's adventure, here's Frank Sinatra as Rocky Fortune.
Next week, I managed to get involved in a fixed fight. Some gamblers want me to stay down for the long count, from here to eternity. Tune in and I'll tell you all about it. Till then, I'll see you around.
The theme song that you heard there, Roy Eldridge's I Remember Harlem. They didn't go out and use production music for the theme for the show. I Remember Harlem, a really nice piece of music. And you can hear it on YouTube. I Remember Harlem by Roy Eldridge. Another great piece of work is Lum and Abner. We'll head to Pine Ridge, Arkansas in just a moment here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Americans have always been noted for their know-how. And you young men in search of a career, you can put this practical talent to excellent use in one of our nation's many engineering schools. At the present time, we need engineers. We need them to maintain our scientific and engineering superiority. So look to your future, to America's future. Plan now to become an engineer.
And let's head to Pine Ridge, Arkansas here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. This episode from 82 years ago, December 22nd, 1941, and it appears that Lum may get involved in some fisticuffs.
The makers of Alka-Seltzer bring you Lum and Abner. Hello, folks. How are you feeling today? Well, if you've been out on a shopping trip today, or if you've been busy around the house or on the job, I'll bet it seems mighty good just to sit down and relax and get set to enjoy another visit with our old friends Lum and Abner. That's right, rest is what you need when you're physically fagged out. But when you sit down to rest, let me suggest just one more thing to help you recuperate. Drink a glass of sparkling Alka-Seltzer and see how it refreshes you. You see, Alka-Seltzer's twofold relief action can help you feel better much faster. The analgesic, sodium acetylsalicylate, which it contains, offers prompt relief for those tired, aching muscles. And at the same time, its alkalizing properties actually help speed up your recovery from your fatigue itself by neutralizing excess fatigue acids caused by overexertion. So remember, friends, whenever a busy day leaves you feeling fagged out and dull, freshen up with Alka-Seltzer and see how fast it helps you feel better. Ask your druggist about Alka-Seltzer and see what he says. And now, let's see what's going on down in Pine Ridge. Well, Snake Hogan is seeing to it that the romance between his sister Gussie and Lum progresses steadily, if not very ardently. And Abner's efforts to extricate Lum from this unhappy alliance only serve to get him into it deeper. As we look in on the little community today, we find the old fellows in their combined jot-em-down store, bakery, and library. Lum is on the telephone. Listen.
Yeah, well, I'll try to make it if I can. I got a heap of work to do here at the store. Yeah, it may keep me tied up all evening, Snake. You'll what? Oh, well, in that case, I reckon I can make it all right. Yeah, I'll be there, Snake. All right. Goodbye.
Are you going over to the Hoganses again tonight, Lum?
Yeah, I reckon so.
Doggies, you been over there for 3 nights hand running now.
I know, but Snake said it'd be a good idea for me to be over there this evening.
Well, you don't have to do everything that Snake Hogan says, do you?
No, I don't have to, but I don't know. When he gets that certain tone to his voice and says his sister Gussie is expecting me, it sounds just like he's talking out of the barrel of that gun he's always polishing.
Is he still polishing on that thing?
Yeah, every night he sits there in the rocker polishing the gun, telling the same jokes over and over.
Well...
Gussie sits on the lounge and blushes and giggles the same way. And then Ms. Hogan gets the stereoscope and shows me the same pictures.
Well...
Granny, I've saw that picture of Niagara Falls 4 dozen times.
Yeah, more likely she keeps showing you that, sort of hinting that you take Gussie there on a honeymoon.
I wouldn't take Gussie to a dog's fight.
Yeah, that's what they're doing it for, I bound you.
And I've seen them views of the Columbia Exposition in Chicago in 1900 or whenever it was a jillion times.
Oh, they got them too?
Oh, my, yeah.
Well...
And I've saw one picture there of a bear at the New York Zoo so many times he's beginning to seem like a member of my own family.
A member of your own family?
Yeah.
Oh, well, Lum, that couldn't have been a bear then.
Well, it is too, a bear. I ought to know. I've saw the picture enough times.
Yeah, but you couldn't have no bear for a real late Lum. You must not have looked good at that picture.
Well, Abner, I never meant that he was
Maybe it's just some fella wearing one of them big fur coats, you know, one of them great big ones that covers a feller all up. That's more likely what it was.
Abner, it wasn't no feller
Aye,
wearing nothing.
dogies, I bound you. That was that uncle of yours up there in Wisconsin, Uncle Zerny.
Uncle Zerny? Oh, I'd
Yeah.
know him anywhere.
Well, don't you recollect? He sent you a picture of himself once, and he was wearing a big, heavy fur coat. And then he writ you how they had to wear coats like that on account of how cold it gets up there.
Yeah, I recollect that, Abner, but this
Aye,
is a picture
dogies, old Uncle Zerny. Well, I ain't thought about him for I don't know when. Reckon how Miss Hogan got a picture of him. Is her and him old friends?
I don't know. I hope not.
Well, they live awful far apart to be, I know that. Or maybe she met him when he taken that trip.
Trip? What trip?
Why, when he went from Wisconsin to New York. Didn't you say that picture showed him at the New York Zoo?
For goodness sakes, Abner, can't you understand that there was a picture of a bear at the zoo?
Well, natural, there's bears at the zoo, Lum. There's all kinds of animals there. See, Lum, a zoo, that's a place where they keep animals and rhinoceroses and camels.
I know what a zoo is.
Yeah, well, that's more likely what Uncle Zerny went to New York for, just to see the animals. He always loved them, I know.
Far as I know, Uncle Zerny never went to New York.
Well, if he never went there, how could he get his picture taken there?
That wasn't him. It was a picture of a bear.
A bear went to New York? Oh, Lum. No bear could find his way from Wisconsin clean to New York. They don't know how to ride on trains and stuff.
Yeah, for goodness sakes, Abner, there's no use of me trying to explain anything to you.
How far did the bear have to travel to get there, Lum?
Just forget about it, Abner. I've got enough trouble with having to explain things to you all the time.
Well, I still think you made a mistake now. You better look at that picture closer when you go over to the Hogans this tonight.
I ain't going over there.
You ain't?
Well, I mean, I wish I was.
Oh.
Granny's Abner, I gotta get out of this thing some way or other. I don't think I can stand sitting in that parlor looking at Gussie one more evening. I wish lightning would strike me, or something.
Lightning? Oh, don't say that, Lum. That's liable to actually happen to you.
Well, compared to what I go through every night, it'd be a pleasure.
Yeah, but don't say that now, Lum. I know the feller over south of Cherry Hill. Well, I heard about him anyway. And he said if he weren't telling the truth about whatever he's talking about, that the lightning ought to come down and strike him. And I dogged it weren't 5 minutes later that the lightning done it.
Pish posh.
It's the truth, according to the almanac. Well, it's the truth anyway.
Well, it couldn't happen today. It ain't even raining.
Yeah, but they can have them electrical storms. Don't need no rain. I recollect one time
wait a
just
minute.
as clear that...
Look who's coming.
Huh?
There's that ferocious feller, Mousy Gray.
Oh, yeah.
And what in the world that feller wants?
I don't know, no telling.
He's got something on his chest.
Yeah, keeps coming in here and saying he's mad at you, but he don't never tell you why.
Can't recollect nothing I ever done to him.
No.
Fact is, I hardly ever seen him. He sleeps all day and night watches over at the mill all night.
Yeah.
And if he don't tell me what he's mad about today, I'm going to pick him up and just shake it out of him.
Oh, well, now, Lum, you can't pick on a little frail feller like him now.
Oh, I reckon I ought to do, but just the same, it gets on my nerves.
Find out, here he comes.
Well, hello there, Mousy.
Howdy, Lum. Abner?
Come on in, Mousy. Are you still mad at me today?
Yes, sir. I believe I'm madder than... Well, I guess I'm the maddest that I've ever been.
Well, just try and control yourself, Mousy. Don't let that temper of yours get out of control.
No.
Now, exactly what is your mad about, Mousy?
Well, it's about... Well, could I see you alone, Lum?
Alone?
Yes, sir.
I reckon so. Abner, step out in the feed room there and close the door.
Oh, I ain't going to listen to nothing, Lum.
Go on, Mousy wants to see me alone. Go on now, hurry up.
Dad, blame it, just when something gets interesting.
Hurry up, be sure you close the door good and tight.
I will. Dad, blame it all.
All right now, Mousy, what's this all about?
Well, it's about her, Lum.
Her?
Yes, sir. And I'm going to fight for her. Honest I am. Honest and true.
Well, who in the world are you talking about, her?
Why, Gussie, of course. She's my dream girl.
Gussie, your dream girl?
Yes.
Well, I'll swan to goodness. Granny's mousy. I never heard Gussie mention nothing about you and her.
Oh, she doesn't know it yet. See, I never have even met her, but, well, she's my secret love.
Well, I do know.
You gave her a locket with in a loaf of bread, Lum, and, well, I'm just awful mad about it.
Well, now, wait, Mousie. That was just a mistake. I meant to give that locket to Miss Fredericks.
Excuses won't save you now, Lum. I worked myself up into too much of a rage to stop now. Well, shall we start the fight?
Mousie, fight? Well, I think maybe you better go back over to the mill and think this over a little longer. No telling what a dangerous feller like you's liable to do.
No, sir. I can't go back without beating you up, Lum. The fellows wouldn't like it at all.
The fellers? You mean the fellers at the mill?
Yes, sir. See, I've failed several times, and they said if I came back again without having whipped you, I'd be a disgrace to the mill.
Oh, I see. Uh-huh. That was sort of their idea, huh?
Well, I helped some with it. Shall we start the fight now?
Well, I reckon so, if it's going to help your standing at the mill.
Well, let's see now. Just how do we go about this? I never have had a fight before.
Well, I reckon the first thing to do is take off our coats.
Well, if you don't mind, I'd rather leave mine on. I take cold awful easy, Lum.
You do, huh?
Yes, sir.
Well, I reckon we can leave them on then. Well, all right now. Put your fists up in front of you.
My fist?
Now, double them up hard. That's it.
I hate to do this, Lum. I've always admired you so much.
I know, but you've got to do it for the fellers at the mill.
Yes, sir. And for Gussie.
Yeah, and for Gussie.
She's my dream girl.
Mm-hmm. I've had a few dreams about her myself. Well, come on. Better start hitting.
You don't think I'm too mad to fight, do you, Lum?
Oh, I think you can control yourself. Hurry up. I can't wait all day to get beat up.
Well, let's see now. Where do you think that I should hit you first?
Oh, I don't know. On the jaw, I reckon. That's all. That's a good starter.
The jaw?
Yeah.
Like this?
Oh!
Hey, what's that? I heard something fall. What? Hey, Lum. Where's Lum?
Oh, he's on the floor there.
The floor? I noted he never ought to have said it. Come on, get some dirt. We got to throw some dirt on him.
Dirt? What for?
Why, you idiot, can't you see he's been struck by lightning?
Say, folks, what do you do along about this time of the day when you want to get a few chuckles? Why, you tune in Lum and Abner to enjoy a little fun from down in Pine Ridge. But let's suppose you happen to be one of the many unfortunate folks who are troubled now with an upset stomach or acid indigestion. There's not much fun about that, is there? But you know what to do when some minor stomach upset causes you to feel and perhaps even act mean and miserable now, don't you? Sure you do. You just help yourself to really fast relief by drinking a glass of sparkling Alka-Seltzer. Yes, folks, Alka-Seltzer acts fast to bring you the kind of relief you want thanks to the unusually effective alkalizer which it contains. You see, Alka-Seltzer not only quickly neutralizes excess gastric acidity, but it also helps relieve that full, stuffy feeling. What's more, Alka-Seltzer's mighty pleasant to take, too. Not at all like some old-fashioned, bitter-tasting medicine. And don't forget, it's not a laxative. Now, if you're one of the few who've never experienced the remarkable relief Alka-Seltzer offers for acid indigestion, sour upset stomach, occasional distress after meals, and heartburn, be sure to try it the very next time you're troubled. Remember, when you take Alka-Seltzer, you'll feel better fast. Ask your druggist about Alka-Seltzer. See what he says.
guess that Mousy Gray has got quite a punch on him. There you go. From December 22nd, 1941, Lum and Abner here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Tomorrow, CBS Radio Workshop, Red Rider, Seal Test Variety Theater, The Tales of the Texas Rangers, and more fallout from the brawl between Lum and Mousy. Not much of a brawl. It was a one-punch affair. Anyway, that'll be coming up on our Saturday show. Have a great Friday. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Back tomorrow on your favorite podcast app.